wrapped up in the backfield and goes down for a loss and a turnover on downs. Cliff Funderburg and Galen Brown crashing in from the ends to get there first, and the Falcons defense stands up. Keep it on the read option. Breaks the tackle. He's got some room to run now. Across the 40, the 35, the 30. 1 man to beat at the 20, the 15. Breaks the tackle, the 10. Touchdown. Falcons with Jalen Smith, a 50-yard touchdown run. Oh, and the ball gets popped out high in the air. It's still loose, and it's still bobbling around, and it's still on the ground.
We got it.
Finally, North 40 comes up with it. Looks like KC Cornelius with the fumble recovery.
Off to Nemo. This time he's got room to run. He's at the 50, the 40, before he's finally brought down at about the 30-yard line. Big time run there from Nemo.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and Falcon fans, to the Unity Bowl 2019. It's the Falcons and the Jackrabbits. I'm Wally, and joined alongside by Tim Danziger, and you'll hear from James here in just a little bit, as well as Ayanna Timmons, our sideline reporter. She catches up with Coach Jackson. Tim, we're coming off another win last week, another blowout win last week for the Falcons as they moved to 2-0 in preparation for their first district game tonight against those Jackrabbits. You know, there was a lot of stuff that happened last week, but at the end of the night, it was a 56-7 blowout win for the Falcons, and you really couldn't ask for any better of a night. Maybe health-wise you could, but as far as performance, it was top-notch.
Yeah, it really was. You know, I mean, and the only thing that I think stood out, and it happened in game one as well, was penalties. But you know, we really didn't see the same penalties that we saw in the first half, the unsportsmanlike conduct and the personal foul and things like that. And so you're right. I think that, you know, as you look at the game, and especially as you contrast that, or as you move into district play starting this week, you want to be firing on all cylinders. And boy, I'll tell you what, offensively, defensively, you can't say enough about the work that the Falcons did last week.
Well, and let's go ahead and jump to that offense. Quarterback play was awesome. We saw that the first quarter and a half, it was Jacob Acuna. When he was in there. Now, he did leave the game with with what they were calling a collarbone injury, and it looks like he's not going to play tonight. He may be back in time next week, so we'll see how that goes. In his absence was Zach Tucker, but Acuna went 8 for 8, 124 yards and 2 touchdowns, and another one rushing in that short quarter and a half. Tucker came in, went 5 of 11, 99 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Acuna played perfect almost for when he was in there. Zach Tucker came on and surprisingly played really well too.
Well, they really didn't miss a beat, you know, and I was shocked. I actually had to call Coach Ludlow on Saturday morning and say, hey, I just looked at the stats. Did Acuna really go 8 for 8? And he said, yeah. He said the only incompletion was on the first play of the game where the defense jumped off sides, which wiped out the play. So, yeah, he said he looked back and went through the tape again, and Acuna was 8 for 8. But you're right. You know, when Tucker came in, you know, he didn't miss a beat. In fact, you wonder what the timing is going to be like, because the backup quarterback doesn't get a lot of reps during practice, and yet he was able to hit on some timing patterns. The one to Shipley, the one to Cam Allen. For both, Shipley's was the long gain that set him up for. That one ended up being a turnover. But when he then went into the back corner for Cam Allen, boy, you know, you just can't say enough about him stepping up. And there's really that next man up mentality that I think is evident with the Falcons team.
Well, and it also makes it easier for you as a quarterback when your team can rush for an ungodly amount of yards. In a couple of, they had 3 guys, in fact, go over 100 yards rushing each, with Jacob Soto, LaMarcus Kurt, and Ty Collins. It makes it so much easier for a quarterback, whether you're a starter or the backup, when you have a rushing attack that's that potent.
Well, you know, they had 2 things going for them. One, they had the big lead. It was already 36-7 when Tucker came in. So that helped out as far as nerves. He wasn't going down and, you know, he didn't have the pressure of trying to win a ball game. That game was out of hand. The defense was not allowing any yardage, and to have that run game, boy, you just can't say enough. Not only did they have 3 guys over 100, they had 2 guys over 150 with LaMarcus and Soto, and LaMarcus did it on 3 carries. You know, he had the 96-yard from the Wildcat formation where he stiff-armed a guy about 20 yards down the field, and nobody could catch him. So that was when you got a rushing game like that, you're going to control the game for one, and the second thing is, you know, it just makes it so much easier for the quarterback.
Well, and they did finally. And what's funny is that, you know, leaving from that first game, we thought, man, if Acuna could just get on the same page with DeJuan Johnson, that would really open up that offense. Well, before Acuna went out, he had threw 2 touchdowns to Johnson. I think he had 5 or 6 catches on that first 2 drives. Like, that was really working. It kind of seemed like they were on the same page when he was in there. And then they didn't throw the ball a whole lot when Tucker was in there. But he hit Colin Shipley on a 72-yard reception that set them up for a touchdown. When they weren't having to run the ball, the few passes that they did, I mean, they were right on the money.
You're right. And we talked a lot about the Acuna to Johnson connection, and you're right. In that first drive, they went 4 for 4 right down the field into the end zone. And then he hit him again for his 5th pass in a row to Johnson in the next drive. These are things, and I know that we talked to Coach Jackson about was that a point of emphasis, and I think that, the good news is it really doesn't matter who they're throwing to. They've got people all over the field, and once you get the ball in their hands, they're really dynamic. They can make people miss. They can run by people. It's as I talked to Coach Ludlow about, it's an embarrassment of riches really on the offensive side of the ball.
Well, we've talked so much about the offense, but we have to give credit to the defense. They only gave up 7 points last week, and that was really just one drive that they gave up a couple of big plays. They did have another fourth a goal line stand like they've had for the 2 weeks, like they've had really for a long time now. It seems like year after year there's littered with 4th and goal stops that, inside the 5-yard line. But their defense played so well. Roderick Brown up front, Josh Anderson, those guys, Patrick Lacey. They were really good. They didn't allow, just like in week 1, they couldn't run the ball against us. We could run the ball against them, and that defensive line is just so good and controls the game that it helps that entire defense.
It really does, and it allows the secondary to fly to the ball because they know that nothing's coming out. And so they can get in coverage, and then when they see where the ball is going, they can fly. And I think that we see it a lot with the Falcons that, there will be 6 or 7, 8 guys around the ball when the ball carrier gets stopped. I mean, they've got, if the pass gets out and it's completed, there's somebody there, and there's a whole bunch of other people coming right behind him. So they've done a really good job of limiting the big plays, which is what you have to do to win.
Well, and like I said, the only thing we could take away from last week, the only negative, was some health. Of course, Acuna went out. He won't play tonight, from what I understand. Maybe back in time for next week's game at Ennis. Also, Jacob Donaldson left that game. I'm not sure what his availability is. You probably know better than anybody.
Yeah, he's out for tonight. He's hoping he can be back next week as well. Thought he might be able to go tonight, but there was just too much swelling and it hasn't gone down, and he's actually in a boot tonight.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
And I happened to see Carlos Rodriguez, the kicker, I think it was on Saturday or maybe it was Sunday even, coming out of the care now, kind of with a little bit of a limp. I think he did something to his knee, so I don't know what his availability is tonight. I don't know what their backup kicker situation is. We know Coach Jackson won't mind going for it, and so we even give him an excuse to go for it now. So I think, if anything, let's just get out of this game healthy. We don't need any more losses.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, this game, like all of the others, I anticipate there will be a lot of hard hitting. They might play until the whistle stops blowing.
Maybe.
You're right.
Maybe.
And so it's going to be a really physical game. And you're right. I think especially, as you think about this being the first district game and this is where it starts to count for the season, you just want to get out of each game. You want to get out with a win and you want to get out with your health.
Well, we will see you back at halftime, Tim. It was, again, a pleasure talking some more Falcon football with you. Here in just a minute, we'll hear from Coach Jackson with Anna and James will hop on. You're listening to North Forney Falcons football here on the Goonville Radio Network and SHN Sports.
Sticky Ribs Barbecue is a family-owned business located in Forney, Texas. We have all of your favorite smoked meats complemented with homemade sides. Take a bite of our mouth-watering barbecue, slow smoked to perfection over Texas post oak on traditional barbecue pits. We offer full-service catering for any size event. Visit us at stickyribsbarbecue.com or on our Facebook page. That's Sticky with no C and Ribs with a Z. Contact us today and see.
Okay, well, we're back. Of course, it's the Unity Bowl 2019. This series has been dominated by the Jackrabbits for so long. that North Forney finally got on got in the win column 2 years ago, James, when Colby Suits and all those guys were still here in Goonville. They beat Forney. I can't remember the score of that one, but it was a very handily win for the Falcons that year. But then last year, the Falcons were expected to win. They were up by 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, and a couple of turnovers later, a couple of Forney touchdowns later, and the Jackrabbits came out victorious. And, man, I remember that game and the intensity from both stands, both crowds, both fan bases was so insane. You don't typically get that for high school football games, but it was definitely noticeable last year.
Yeah, it seemed like whatever happened to them in the fourth quarter in the Forney game kind of carried over to a lot of the games last year where they played so well in the first half. It usually was the first and third quarters. They played really, really well, and then just for whatever reason just didn't have it in the second and especially in the fourth quarter, and it showed in that game last year. And looking at the stands tonight and the fact that I got here 45 minutes early and I had to walk half a mile to get here tells you that it's probably going to be a repeat this year.
Well, and just like last year, both sides of the stands are full. Of course, the home's a little bit bigger than the away, and the home's filling up quickly. The away side with Forney it's almost full already as well. It's a little bit smaller of a set of stands. It's just this week's been so much fun. It's always fun to build up because every day's kind of got some type of event. We even have, I believe, we'll still have the mascot race at halftime, or no, maybe I think that's at the end of the first or end of the third quarter, which is always fun to call. So we'll stay on air for that as well. But this game has so much meaning, and obviously the Unity Bowl. You want those bragging rights. But as you kind of mentioned with last year's game, and I've talked to a few players kind of about this too, is that opening district loss to the Jackrabbits last year really deflated these guys. And kind of got the confidence down. And I've talked to someone that it almost was like all year long they were having to battle the loss of confidence from that game. Sometimes they'd have it and it'd go away. Sometimes they'd get it and it'd go away. But because they were coming off a big win against Wiley East the week before. And this game it's such a swing of momentum, especially with it being the first game of district and not the last game like it has been every year until last year. And so it's a big game, obviously for bragging rights, but man, you want to go 1-0 starting district because you look up and you've got Ennis and Corsicana the next 2 weeks. Those are the number 1 and number 2 pick teams in the district. We know how good they can be. If you lose this one again, I think what's more scary is that I think the kids will start to look at, man, here we go again. Because we see Ennis coming up. We see Corsicana coming up. We don't want to start out 0-3 like we did last year in district play. They've got to win this one tonight.
Yeah, well, obviously we'll be keeping a close eye on Ennis and Corsicana as they play tonight. I think Roy City has the first bye week of the season this week. And I think, like you said last year, they were fighting an uphill battle from the start of district. And I think with the maturity that we have in this team, the guys that have stepped up in leadership roles, even some of the younger guys that have stepped up in leadership roles, I think they're going to understand that tonight's game is really a microcosm of the whole season as a whole. You've got to start fast. You've got to start, like Tim was talking before the break about the penalties, and you got to play smart. You got to give yourself a fighting chance in the second half and come out here as a home crowd, be loud, be proud, and pedal to the metal from the very beginning.
Well, and it's important to get out to a quick start, but North Forney did that last year against the Jackrabbits, and Jackrabbits are the ones who kind of had that mental fortitude and able to stay in it and come back in the end. So this is going to be, I think North Forney is the more talented team, and I don't think it's particularly close, but I felt pretty good about that last year in the same thing. And Forney they hung in there, and they got a couple of turnovers, and that was the key. Got a couple of turnovers that really kind of fueled them, and I think it got inside North Forney's head. North Forney's got to play a clean game. If they play a clean game tonight, I don't think it's going to be a close one. But they cannot afford to have turnovers or mistakes or a lot of penalties, and penalties has been something that has hampered North Forney. It's probably been one of the few negatives through the first 2 weeks that they've had a lot of penalties. You can't afford to have that or turnovers tonight against this big rivalry game.
Well, obviously the key to an upset of any kind, there's 2 major keys. You got turnovers and you got hope. And North Forney can't give the Jackrabbits any of that tonight. You can't give them any turnovers, and you can't give them hope that they can play, especially come that second half. And looking at last week, and especially after Acuna exited the game, they pounded the ball on the offense. I want to say that Tucker, he threw the ball 12 times. The North Forney team, for most of the game, threw the ball 12 times. That should tell you that they had a really good dress rehearsal for a pounding last week against Wiley East.
Well, and North Forney's got to be ready for the run. The Falcons, that's what they want to do tonight, is run the ball, and especially with their backup quarterback in. And I think they feel pretty comfortable with Tucker throwing the ball. Coach talked about that's why they called some of those pass plays last week, even though they were up pretty big, because they thought that they might need him to be able to throw the ball. So I think they feel pretty comfortable with him in that area, but they don't want to have to find out. They want to run the ball, and they want to run it all night long. They're coming off 492 yards rushing last week. Don't be surprised if they sniff getting close to that again this week.
Sure. So listen to these averages. Okay, these are average rush yards per carry. Jacob Soto for the season, over 8 yards a carry. Ty Collins, over almost 7 yards a carry. LaMarcus Kirk, 52. that tells you everything you know there. The quarterback, Jacob Acuna, almost 7 yards a carry. It tells me that they're able to run the ball when they want to, and the list goes on and on. That was just the top 3 or 4. And so I think that, like you're saying, that is going to be the key tonight to success, is to run the ball early and hold on to the ball early.
Well, and like we mentioned a couple times, I do want to say it one more time, they are dealing with a couple of injuries tonight. Jacob Acuna, the starting quarterback, we know that he will be out for tonight. Should be back next week. They're hoping he'll be back next week. We talked about Jacob Donaldson, who's one of their big key secondary guys on defense. Turnover machine. He had a fumble recovery last week before he got hurt. And so he's also out this week. We'll see who else is able to play. I know, like Carlos Rodriguez, I know he was injured after last week's game. We'll see. He's the kicker, of course. We'll see if he's able to go tonight. But why don't we go ahead and take a quick step away while they get to the national anthem. You're listening to North Forney Falcons football here on the Goonville Radio Network.
Sticky Ribs Barbecue is a family-owned business located in Forney, Texas. We have all of your favorite smoked meats complemented with homemade sides. Take a bite of our mouth-watering barbecue, slow smoked to perfection over Texas post oak on traditional barbecue pits. We offer full-service catering for any size event. Visit us at stickyribsbarbecue.com or on our Facebook page. That's Sticky with no C and Ribs with a Z. Contact us today and see what you've been missing. Sticky Ribs Barbecue. Get addicted. Your go-to for barbecue.
Hey Falcons fans, are you looking for a local streamlined real estate experience? I'm John Finkenbeiner with Exalt Realty, and in my 12 years in real estate, I have perfected the art of keeping the process of buying and selling simple and easy. Whether it's a buyer's or a seller's market or somewhere in between, make sure you call me, John Finkenbeiner, where real estate is made easy at 469-556-8392. Go Falcons!
Our hometown Taco Casa is proud to support the outstanding programs of North Forney High School, the amazing staff, and great students. Taco Casa, still the same since 1972. Real fresh, real food, real good.
Your next new car is waiting for you at Musser's Chevrolet in Terrell. Musser's has been in business since 1962, making great deals on new and pre-owned cars and trucks. They also offer top-of-the-line automotive service by trained technicians with the most current diagnostic and repair equipment available. And they'll even offer you a free loan car while your GM car is serviced. Visit Musser Chevrolet today for your new Chevrolet or quality pre-owned vehicle. Musser Chevrolet is at 1212 Westmore Avenue in Terrell.
You're listening to North Forney Falcons football on the Goonville Radio Network.
Wally and James here for North Forney Falcons football here on the pregame show, brought to you on YouTube through SHN Sports. Here in just a minute, we'll actually have the national anthem. They tricked me and they went with both school songs instead. So here in just a second, we'll actually go to the coach's interview as they cut to the national anthem, as our own Ayanna Brown was able to catch up with Coach Jackson. Had an extra long list of questions this time to get to him, so we'll see how that turns out. Of course, it's the North Forney color guard that's out at the 50-yard line for the national anthem. We'll see if Ayanna Brown is ready for us to go down to her. I think she is standing by with Coach Jackson, so let's go ahead and go down to Ayanna and let's see what Coach Jackson has.
Thanks, Wally. I'm here with Coach Jackson again. What does the quarterback situation look like for you guys tonight?
Tonight we're going to be out Jacob. He'll probably be back next week, but Zach Tucker will go. Logan Williams will be our backup. We'll do a little bit of Wildcat stuff probably, and So, it's next man up mentality, and we just tell everybody's got to play 5% better, and we'll be fine.
Can we expect to see LaMarcus Kirk in the Wildcat?
Yeah, he'll definitely get his hands on the ball. He did a great job last week, so we'll give it to him again.
Is there anything from last year's Unity Bowl game loss that you can use as a lesson to remind the team about tonight?
100%. They don't have a whole lot of 5-star college athlete kind of guys. They just have guys who play hard. Dad played here, Grandpa played here, whatever, and they have guys that go hard. So they're gonna play harder against us than anybody all year. So we know that we're gonna get their best shot.
Knowing how an open district loss to Forney can affect the season, how much would a win tonight mean for the direction of the team?
It's just a hole we don't want to be in. So it's just important for both teams, I guess. Everybody playing tonight. We need to start right and be 1-0 because it is a tough hole to dig out of.
And this is your first time coaching Unity Bowl as the home side. Do you think that this will help you in any way?
Not really, other than the chain won't be over there. So we don't have to dodge the chain, but other than that, no.
Okay. Thank you, Coach Jackson. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Ayana. Man, a couple things to take away there, James. So he confirms that Acuna's not in. He also, this is kind of a twist that I'd heard about last week, or after the game last week, that Logan Williams, who was the backup quarterback 2 years ago with Colby as a sophomore, he's a big baseball player. You probably remember him from covering some of the baseball games. He's actually going to be the backup quarterback going in this week. He didn't start the year with the football team, and now he's back this year. And actually just came in, I think, last week. He kind of got back with the team, or maybe the week before. So he'll be the backup quarterback in case something does happen to Tucker. But the other thing he said there also was that we will expect to see, or should expect to see, some Wildcat with LaMarcus Kirk, and that excites me.
Yeah, well, obviously it's different than what we've seen in the past from North Forney. We didn't see that really a whole lot last year. Maybe once or twice with Soto, that the direct snap of some sort. But I think obviously that goes into play when you don't have Acuna tonight, and so it takes a little bit of the pressure off of Tucker to perform tonight. He doesn't have to carry all of the burden himself, and I think that's probably a good move by Coach.
Well, and I even kind of asked him about it on the coaches show earlier this week on Facebook. About would you use LaMarcus in that role a bit more, helping out Tucker. And so, he's like, yeah, that's probably something we'll see. So I would imagine we'll see how it goes. I don't think they're going to want to pull it out if they don't need it. And we'll kind of see if they need it, obviously, pretty soon, and we'll know. But if they do, I think it's there. And Kirk showed last week 3 carries for 157 yards and a touchdown that could be very effective. But I'm sure Forney also saw that on film, those couple of plays, and they know it could be a possibility as well.
Well, it's just like the Cowboys last week against the Giants. What's the Giants running back?
Barkley.
Barkley, right. So he kind of reminds me of him a little bit. You may ball him up a little bit, but he's shown that he's got that breakaway speed, and that if you just give him a hole, miss up one time, and it could be a game changer.
Well, it looked like Forney won the toss. Did Forney win the toss?
No, North Forney won and chose to receive.
Okay, I like it. I like that. Back deep to receive for North Forney. Looks like LaMarcus Kirk.
Not too loud,
and I'm not sure who number 21 is. Oh, no, that's Ty Collins. I'm silly. That's silly. And kicking off for Forney, I believe, is the quarterback also, Campbell Anderson. Actually make that Colby Ortega. Ortega will kick this one off, and it's going to be caught inside the 10-yard line. And I thought Collins was given the fair catch signal. He started to take off and run, but he called for a fair catch. And, of course, since he did that inside the 25-yard line, that'll be brought out to the 25. And the Falcons will start 1st and 10 from their own 25-yard line.
Yeah, he kind of halfway put his hand up thinking, I don't know if I want to do this or not. And then when he caught it, I was thinking, maybe he can get away with it. And they were on him quick. He said, no, sir, you're not. You can't run this one back.
So out onto the field will be, right away we get the Wildcat with LaMarcus Kirk. So that answers that question. Kirk's in the backfield along with, I'm not sure, man, they're tricking it up on us this week. Looks like Colin Shipley, the receiver. Kirk will take the direct snap, and on 1st down, he's near the 1st down marker. Looks like they'll give him a gain of 9 all the way out to the 34-yard line.
That's going to hurt his season average, a 9-yard gain. Really wasn't even touched till about 7 yards. good blocking there up front.
Brings up 2nd down and 1. Still in the Wildcat. And actually, we're going to get a timeout from Coach Jackson, and I'm sure he won't be happy with having to call a timeout after the first play. So with that timeout, we'll go ahead and take a quick step away. Just a couple of one play ran, 0-0 the score. You're listening to North Forney Falcons football here on the Goonville Radio Network.
Football season is in full swing. Elevate your game day experience with edible arrangements. They're fresh, handcrafted fruits dipped in rich chocolate to create delicious, indulgent party platters. Visit the nearest edible location in Rockwall or call 972-771-6454. You can also check them out at edible.com. Be sure to mention the code word Goonville on your next order and receive 10% off. Let Edible help you win your next game day before it even starts.
You're listening to North Forney Falcons football on the Goonville Radio Network.
And out of the timeout, Kirk again when the Wildcat direct snap. He's got a gain of 7 out to the Falcon 41-yard line.
Yeah, it looked like the exact same play. Call a timeout, maybe threw threw Forney off a little bit.
Now to Zach Tucker, who's in at quarterback. They got 4 receivers set up here to the right. I don't think they're ready. They throw it out to Kirk, and making a good play defensively is the Jackrabbit cornerback. Number 3, Riley McMurrin. We'll see McMurrin play cornerback. We'll see him play some linebacker. We'll see him play receiver. He'll be all over the field. McMurrin, probably their best player, their best all-around player for sure for the Jackrabbits. Kirk got back to the line of scrimmage, so to bring up 2nd down and 10. Tucker, the quarterback. He'll turn it and hand it off to Collins. Collins up the middle, breaks a tackle. Near midfield, they'll mark him down at the 48, it looks like.
They're going super speed here.
That'll bring up 3rd down and 4. They are going fast. Another handoff to Collins. Collins up the middle, across midfield. Looks like he's going to be about a yard short of a first. So it'll give us our first 4th down of the game. And I would imagine North Forney not hesitating to go for it. And we get Soto coming in for Collins at running back.
Yeah, I could imagine just handing it off Soto right up the middle. They hadn't really been able to stop him.
It is a handoff up the middle. Soto breaks a tackle in the hole. He's inside the 45-yard line, brought down at the 44. And that is good for a Falcons first down.
That one was all Soto there. He was hit at the line of scrimmage and was able to break, it looked like 2 tackles, pick up the first down.
Falcons running the ball. This time it's play action. Looking deep down the field, looking for LaMarcus Kirk, and it's just outside of his reach, off the fingertips on the go pattern down the sideline.
I think the ball was beautifully thrown. That's one that I think Kirk will tell you he wants to come away with that one. Had a step on his man.
So that'll bring up 2nd down and 10 for North Forney. Just over 10 minutes left in the first quarter. Tucker throws quickly, and I'm not sure who was expecting that pass, but whoever it was not expecting it, and it goes past. They had 4 receivers over there, and they were all blocking.
Yeah, it was that patent little wide receiver kind of bubble screen or whatever you want to call it over on the flat. And all the receivers went to blocking, and nobody was ready to catch.
Soto, the running back. 1 receiver to the left and 2 to the right. And a tight end on the left side as well. Tucker play action, got pressured on the corner blitz. Had to get rid of it early. And that's going to force a long 3rd down, actually a long 4th down now for North Forney. 4th and 10 from the Jackrabbit 44, and they'll have to send out the punt team.
Yeah, you kind of put yourself in a hole with the miscommunication there on the wide receiver screen.
You know, I don't want to say it, but it all started to go wrong when they went to pass the ball. They were running the ball so well. Rodriguez into punt. It's a high snap. He just does get it off in time. It's a nice punt. So we fielded at the 4-yard line. Brought out from there, breaking the tackle, getting across the 10, still on his feet with some room to run. And DeMarcus Kirk able to bring him down just before he broke away. They'll mark him at the 16-yard line.
Yeah, he kind of broke out of the scrum there, and he had plenty of field to run to. Good play there by Kirk to chase him down from behind as he was trying to get to the sideline.
We got a flag on the far side of the field at the line of scrimmage, and I want to say it was probably illegal motion on North Forney. It looked like the gunman, the gunner on the far side was coming in motion. It looked like he started to take off upfield right before the ball was snapped. And I bet that's what they're going to call it on. Of course, North Forney in their black jerseys with the blue numbers, blue pants, and the black helmets with the chrome wings on each side. And the Jackrabbits in their white jerseys with the black numbers, with gold on the sleeves, and black pants with the gold stripe. They look very reminiscent of the Pittsburgh Steelers or the Iowa Hawkeyes, if you're familiar with either one of those teams.
Basically just yellow. They got yellow with the white jerseys. I still think we got them in that department.
Ours are sharp. Their numbers are a little easier to see, and I do envy that. So the penalty was tacked on at the end of the return. So the Jackrabbits will start from their own 21-yard line. Campbell Anderson, the quarterback in the shotgun, sends a man out in motion. Wanting to set up a screen coming back the other way. The ball's deflected in the air and intercepted! The ball was picked off. I believe that's Jeremy Bailey on the interception, and sure enough it is. I want to say that was Josh Anderson getting the deflection, or maybe...
Yeah, but Josh Anderson came away with it.
And so on the first play for the Jackrabbits, it's an interception for the Falcons, and they get the ball right back and the momentum right back as well.
It's absolutely how you win these rivalry games, is starting with the turnovers.
So North Forney takes over the Jackrabbit 18. We got a pass down the field inside the 5. It's a touchdown to DeJuan Johnson, and the Falcons are on the board first. It was an end-around reverse. They gave it back to Tucker at quarterback, and he throws the touchdown pass to Johnson.
He was open before he ever even received the handoff. I think everybody in the stadium knew where that was going.
So 6-0. And Carlos Rodriguez on for the extra point. It was an 18-yard touchdown. And the extra point kick is up, and it is good. Falcons lead 7-0 with 9:37 to play in the first quarter. You're listening to North Forney Falcons football on the Goonville Radio Network.
Your new Cadillac is as close as Musser Cadillac in Terrell. Musser's has been making great deals on new and pre-owned cars and trucks since 1962. And you're sure to get a great deal on a new Cadillac when you visit Musser's in Terrell. They also offer top-of-the-line automotive service by trained technicians with the most current diagnostic and repair equipment available. And they'll even offer you a free loan car while your GM car is serviced. Visit Musser Cadillac today for your new Cadillac or quality pre-owned vehicle. Musser's is at 1212 Westmore Avenue in Terrell.
Our hometown Taco Casa is proud to support the outstanding programs of North Forney High School, the amazing staff, and great students. Taco Casa, right here in Forney, Texas, feeding hungry folks since 2010. Real fresh, real food, real good.
You're listening to North Forney Falcons football on the Goonville Radio Network.
Wally and James for North Forney Falcons football back here at Citibank Stadium for the Unity Bowl. Falcons leading 7-0. The North Forney fans are very upset because the scoreboard is having a malfunction, and it shows the Jackrabbits up 20-0, and they are just, it's making the Falcons fans just livid.
That's what we need. Get them louder.
It is 7-0 Falcons, no matter what the scoreboard says. Rodriguez kicked this one down the field. It's going to be fielded at the goal line and brought out from there. Jackrabbits on the return, gets across the 15-yard line and brought down hard by Falcons.
It's like Chandler McGee in on the stop, the special teams play. While going back to that touchdown pass, what made that thing so interesting was it was supposed to be a reverse pass, but he was so wide open that as soon as he got the handoff, he chunked it.
You have flags on the play back at on the line of scrimmage for the kickoff. I'm sure that just means that North Forney was offsides, and I would imagine that Forney will probably tack that on at the end of the play, but we'll see. Forney might want a chance at a better return.
I'm really kind of shocked. He was in his own end zone when he took off, and you just don't hardly see that anymore with the new rules.
Yep, they're just going to add that on to the end of the kick. So they'll spot that at the Jackrabbit 27-yard line. Forney ran one play on their first offensive possession. That one play got picked off by the Falcons. And it's set up on the very next play for the first North Forney touchdown. Campbell Anderson again back at quarterback in the shotgun. Standing next to him at running back will be Jalen Phillips, the junior. Three receivers bunched to the right, one to the left. They're going to turn and toss it over to the right. Wrapped up in the backfield and dropped forward by Nemo for a loss of almost 6 on the play.
Yeah, Nemo had that read from the very beginning. There was really no one. I mean, he was off the ball so quick in the backfield. Forney didn't even have a chance on that play.
So that'll bring up 2nd down and 15.
Looks like they were trying to get pressure up the middle, kind of stunting the linebackers.
Anderson in the shotgun. Brings a receiver in motion from left to right. Turn and hand it off. Met in the backfield. This time able to get away from the first defender, but not the second, third, and fourth.
It's like Jeremy Bailey and it's like Donovan Holt on the stop in the backfield.
Another loss, and that's going to make it 3rd and almost 20 for the Jackrabbits.
Well, I guess we're going to see if Forney has a 3rd and 20 type play on their own end of the field. You kind of got to be careful here. If you're North Forney, you put the pressure on for sure.
North Forney going to get a couple of substitutions in late. Coach Jackson not happy, but they do get off the field just in time. Anderson going to scramble out. Now throws down the field. He's got a man open, but it just is out off the fingertips of his intended receiver, Braden Kirkland. He had him streaking down the sideline there as he kind of broke free at the last second on the scramble, but not able to connect with him, and that'll bring out the punt team for Forney. And North Forney on a Sticky Ribs barbecue 3rd down, money down, forces a 3 and out.
Yeah, he had a man wide open out of the backfield like you're saying, but he overthrew him and he kind of underthrew a receiver that was already out down the field. Really had 2 Jackrabbits that had a decent chance of getting to it.
So with 8:03 to play in the first quarter, the Jackrabbits have had 2 possessions. They've had a turnover and negative 10 yards of offense. So punted down the field. It's going to bounce right at the 50-yard line and then back into Falcons territory, and it's going to be fielded at they're going to say right at the 50-yard line. So North Forney will start out with the ball at midfield. I would imagine they'll get back to the running game here. Yeah. They saw it work in the first one. They had the big momentum play that they threw for a touchdown off the reverse. I'd imagine they'll get back to pounding the rock here on this drive.
Yeah, the Wildcat was very successful there on that first drive. 9-yard run, 7-yard run, another 10-yard run. Let's see if they get back to it here.
Tucker in at quarterback. Soto's his running back next to him. Man in motion from right to left. They pitch it to him. That's LaMarcus Kirk trying to find the outside edge. Now he's going to turn back, cut up field. Now go back outside. Finally brought down a lot of running for a gain of 1 yard. Forney played that one very well on that edge.
Yeah, Tucker kind of pitched that forward. He had lots of room to run out here to the right. I imagine that was obviously the play call was to pitch it. But if he chose to, he had plenty of room to run.
3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Kirk in the shotgun. He'll take the direct snap, runs out right up the middle. Finally gets met by a host of Jackrabbits after a gain of 5, and he'll get down to the Jackrabbit 44. They leave Zach Tucker out there. He just lines up as a receiver. Tucker looks the part as far as that athlete goes, so I think he could make some plays as a receiver. Of course, LaMarcus Kirk looking to run the ball when he's in there as the quarterback in that Wildcat formation. McMurrin coming on the blitz. This time he whiffs on Kirk. Kirk trying to get to the outside. He loses the ball there for a second. And they're going to say that he was down. The linesman coming from this side, pointing to the ground, saying, no, he's down. And the Falcons catch a big break there because the Jackrabbits had jumped on top of it. But it does bring up 4th down and 1 now for this Falcons offense at the Jackrabbit 41.
You know, Kirk, he initially kind of bounced that outside. I feel like he had the first down if he'd have just kind of went forward and he kind of tried to fight for extra yards and ended up giving up a yard.
Tucker back in at quarterback, Soto to his right. They take the snap. Tucker throws, and it's well past the reach of DeJuan Johnson. And on 4th and 1, the Falcons decide to throw it to the far side of the field, near hash to the far numbers. And it was never even close to getting to the hands of DeJuan Johnson.
He was definitely open. If it had been a on-target throw, it would have been a first down. As Tucker kind of walked off the field, had his palms in the air, like maybe there was some confusion.
Well, and it was a bit of a high snap, so I wonder if he was going to hand that off to Soto, but because of the high snap, knew that he would be rushing to try to get that in. So then he went, it was probably a run-pass option, and then went to that throw. I'll have to ask Coach Jackson about that one. So the Jackrabbits take over, 1st and 10 from their own 41. Anderson hands it off. And head for about a gain of 2 is Jalen Phillips.
It's like Josh Anderson able to stop the momentum there up the middle. Really 2 or 3 Falcons able to get their hands on him.
So it'll be 2nd down and 8 for Forney.
I believe that is the first positive yardage that Forney has had thus far in the game.
It's not too shabby for North Forney.
This in their 3rd possession.
I think the Falcons would love to be up a little bit more than 7-0 though at this point. 5:43 to play in the first quarter. Anderson takes the snap, hands it off to Phillips. Phillips met for a loss of a yard. That looked like Roderick Brown.
Roderick Brown in on the tackle.
Donovan Holt coming to help out from his outside linebacker position.
By the way, I just want to give a shout out to Mr. Fred Wallace tonight. I can definitely see the numbers better with him telling me what numbers they are.
It makes it a little easier, doesn't it? So it's a Sticky Ribs barbecue, 3rd down, money down. The Jackrabbits have to reach the Falcon 49-yard line. As it stands right now, they're just as inside their own 42. Anderson in the shotgun. Phillips, the running back, to his right. 3 receivers set to the right and 1 to the left. High snap. Anderson brings it down. He's looking right, throws right. It's complete. No, it's not. Knocked out of the hands of the receiver, and that's Jeremy Bailey coming up from his safety position and knocked that one away.
It was perfect timing. I mean, the ball really was in the Jackrabbit receiver's hands, and he just came right over the top and just knocked it out. And couldn't have played that any better. Getting high fives all around on the sideline there.
So Colin Shipley will be standing at his own 22-yard line to return this punt. Under 5 minutes to play in the first quarter. It's going to be a short, wobbly punt. Shipley will field it. He's got some room to run. Trying to avoid a defender, but he couldn't quite get away from him. And he'll be brought down at the 31 after a return of about 6 yards.
Yeah, he definitely had room to run. That was just good coverage there, number 4 for the Jackrabbits. Good open field tackle.
4:41 to play in the first quarter. Falcons leading 7-0. The Jackrabbits yet to get a first down offensively. Tucker in the shotgun all by himself. He's got 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. The tight end in motion from right to left as well. They're going to throw it out quickly to Kurt. Kurt trying to make something happen and avoids a defender. Gets close to the 35 and then steps out of bounds. And the short gain of 2 on the play.
Give credit to the Forney defensive backs. They're able to kind of skirt these blocks by these receivers that North Forney receivers have been really, really good at so far this season of that perimeter blocking.
Tucker this time hands it off to Collins. Collins ahead, trying to spin out of a tackle, and he lost the ball, and the Jackrabbits have it. This is the one thing that has plagued, I say there's really 2 things that have plagued North Forney this year. One being penalties, which they really haven't had much tonight. The second being turnovers, and this is the second ball they've put on the ground. The first one they ruled as down by contact first, but this one here gives the Jackrabbits good field position and momentum at the Falcon 45-yard line.
Well, I mean, let's be honest, that turnover there is extra painful because it was on the heels of a really nice gain. It just takes momentum completely away and swings it in the other direction.
Anderson brings out the Jackrabbit offense. He's got a running back to each side in the shotgun. Takes the snap, draws back. He's looking right, being pressured. Just as he throws, he was brought down And I believe that was Patrick Lacey that time getting back there.
Yeah, Patrick Lacey was able to basically save the day there because the Jackrabbit receiver had a step. And if that would have been a good throw and he had a clean pocket, that could have been 6.
It's going to bring up 2nd down and 10 now. Under 4.5 minutes left in the first. With Forney leading 7-0. Same formation, running back to each side of Campbell. Anderson fakes the handoff, and he's brought down to the backfield right away. They fake the handoff, and he wanted to run the option the other way. This time it was Roger Brown getting back there and gobbling up the quarterback.
Yeah, Roger Brown's like, you next time hand it off. or pitch it sooner.
That was a loss of 5 that time.
I don't know how you don't see him coming downhill. Again, the Falcon defense is, man, they're playing their hearts out early in this game.
So it's another Sticky Ribs Barbecue 3rd down, money down. It's 3rd and 15 from midfield. Anderson, the shotgun. He's got Phillips to his right. 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Anderson draws back, being pressured again. This time gets away from the pressure initially. Scrambling out to his right, throws it down the field, and it's broken up. Well covered by Jules Unique Dimps. And that's going to bring up 4th down.
Yeah, he had to escape the pressure in the pocket, and that's just not easy throwing on the run. Good coverage there by the Falcon defense. Again, standing strong when they needed to.
So the Jackrabbit punt team will come out onto the field. And it looks like Colby Ortega, who does the kicking for North Forney, also doing the punting. And standing just inside his own 15-yard line is Colin Shipley. Another short, wobbly kick. Shipley will field it, avoids the first tackler, breaks away from the next one across the 30-yard line, and then finally knocked out of bounds. And he's got a solid gain on that far side of the field, and the North Forney coaches are wanting a late hit out of bounds. Unfortunately, it's just not on their side of the field. They might have got that call. And they will mark that. So they're going to mark that right at the 35-yard line. An 18-yard return from Shipley. Falcons offense back out onto the field. The offensive line been really good so far this year. Robert McCoy, Riley Tracy, Jeremiah Baker, Bressie. I'm sure I'm missing some other guys. Handoff up the middle to Soto. Soto still on his feet. So they're going to say that he was down. Got a gain of 5 on that. Out to the 40-yard line. Brings up 2nd down and 5 for North Forney. Coming up on 3 minutes. They'll hand it off again to Soto. Soto patiently waiting for his hole to open and then maneuvering his way through it for a gain of 8. Out to the 48-yard line, and the Falcons moving fast. They're saying, hey, ref, spot the ball. We want to go.
First down.
Another handoff to Soto, up the middle. This time, yards a little bit harder to come by. He'll still scratch out 3. Actually, give him 4.
We still got just under 3 minutes left in the first quarter, and you can already tell the defensive line of Forney here is they're reeling already.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see them late in the 3rd and 4th quarter. Handoff up the middle, Soto. Soto's got a crease. Breaks a tackle. Breaks away from another defender. That was a collision. And that's a big gain of 12 on the play down to the Jackrabbit 35-yard line. And Soto's going to check out after a couple of nice, tough runs.
Yeah, he jumped up real quick. He took a big shot, but he was on his feet in a hurry.
Now Collins, the running back. They'll fake the handoff. They're looking out to the right sideline. He's got a man open. It's Boo. Boo with the reception inside the 20. Inside the 15. Trying to break away from the last defender, and he gets tripped up all the way down to the 8-yard line. Nice throw and catch there from Tucker.
Yeah, it looks like the defender thought it was going to be overthrown and kind of went for the interception or the deflection, and he just came down with it.
Handoff up in the middle. Collins inside the 5, inside the end zone, and the Falcons score from 8 yards out on the run from Ty Collins. Collins with a bit of redemption there. Of course, he fumbled on the last possession, turned it over. The Falcons defense flexed and got the ball back. And then Collins able to punch it in from 8 yards out for a little bit of redemption.
Just well-executed play right up the middle. really nothing that Forney could do. Every offensive lineman was in the position they needed to be in.
And we've got whistles here before the extra point. So it's a false start on the Falcons. We'll back it up 5.
A couple penalties so far tonight,
back.
but they've all been on the kind of special teams plays, kickoffs, and extra points.
Well, they've been on the 5-yard variety as
Sure.
well, which is not quite as costly as the 10 or 15-yard penalties. So they'll back it up a couple yards. Rodriguez still able to boot this one through for the extra point, and the Falcons lead 14-0. We'll take a quick step away. You're listening to North Forney Falcons football here on the Goonville Radio Network.
Hey Falcons fans, are you looking for a local streamlined real estate experience? I'm John O'Finkenbeiner with Exalt Realty, and in my 12 years in real estate, I have perfected the art of keeping the process of buying and selling simple and easy. Whether it's a buyer's or a seller's market or somewhere in between, make sure you call me, John O'Finkenbeiner, where real estate is made easy at 469-556-8392. Go Falcons!
Sticky Ribs Barbecue is a family-owned business located in Forney, Texas. We have all of your favorite smoked meats complemented with homemade sides. Take a bite of our mouth-watering barbecue, slow smoked to perfection over Texas post oak on traditional barbecue pits. We offer full-service catering for any size event. Visit us at stickyribsbarbecue.com or on our Facebook page. That's Sticky with no C and Ribs with a Z. Contact us today and see what you've been missing. Sticky Ribs Barbecue. Get addicted. Your go-to for barbecue. You're listening to North Forney Falcons football on the Goonville Radio Network.
$14-0 here from Citibank. It's Wally and James for North Forney Falcons football on the Goonville Radio Network, brought to you by SHN Sports. And Rodriguez will boot this one away. It's going to be fielded at the 1-yard line. Going to be brought out there across the 20-yard line. And then wrapped up and brought down before he can get to the 25 is Zarek Walters. So 1st and 10 for Forney from their own 24-yard line as they trail the Falcons 14-0 here in the 2019 Unity Bowl. It's also the first district game of the year for both teams. Next week, North Forney will travel to Ennis to play the Lions. A big early district showdown. But still a lot of work to do here. 2 touchdowns, as every Falcon fan knows, is not enough in this game. 1st and 10, Anderson takes the snap in the shotgun, hands it off up the middle. It's Phillips breaking a tackle, still on his feet. And he'll have enough for the first Jackrabbits first down as he is able to get out to the 37. And it's the first Jackrabbits first down of the game. And it comes with 1:50 left on the clock. Anderson takes the shotgun snap, fakes the handoff, keeps it himself. Started out right, then cut up at the field. It's met by a couple of Falcons, but he does have a gain of 9 this time. And that's going to bring up 2nd down and 1 for the Jackrabbits.
Looks like Nemo was able to finally bring him down. That's 2 positive gains in a row for Forney. For North Forney, you want to stop that before they get onto your side of the field.
Coming up on 1 minute left in the first quarter. Falcons leading 14-0. Handoff up the middle. They got the first down. The ball's loose. The ball pops out right into a Falcons' hands.
See who this is coming up with it.
And it looks like Roderick Brown.
Yeah, Roderick Brown.
Right into Brown's hands. What can Brown do for you?
Nice. Nice.
And I don't think that was, I'll have to go back and watch the film on that one because it was really hard to tell from here. I'm not sure that anybody poked it away or knocked it away. I think the running back just kind of lost it out of midair, and Roderick Brown happened to be at the right place at the right time.
He kind of broke the first tackle at the line of scrimmage, and as he was kind of lunging for more, the ball just kind of slipped out and right into Brown's hands.
So the Falcons take over from their own 49-yard line.
Kind of a delayed handoff around the outside.
Got enough for a first down to Soto. Soto usually running up the middle. That time it was an outside zone run.
And that was one of those reads where Tucker was kind of held on to it to the very last second and said, no, you take it.
Down for the Falcons. Another handoff to Soto. He'll squirt up the middle. He's got a solid gain of 7 down to the Jackrabbit 33. North Forney wanting to play quickly and wanting to run the ball. They're going to keep pounding it up the middle until Forney shows they can stop it. Handoff again up the middle. This time he cuts to the right, then darts back up the middle of the field. Some good vision there from Soto as he saw the defenders dart to the outside, then he cut back up inside. He's got enough for a first down as they get down to the 24-yard line.
Yeah, we've seen Soto the first 3 games of the season. If you give him 3 or 4 yards head start, you're just not bringing him down with one guy.
This time they fake the handoff to Soto. They're looking down the middle of the field. A nice catch by Colin Shipley up in the air with 2 hands over the defender. He falls at the 1-yard line before he can get in the end zone, but what an acrobatic catch from Shipley.
And it really was a great throw, too. You had 2 defenders on either side, and he put that where only his man could get it, and a terrific catch. I think the North Forney fans all thought he scored.
Shipley with some of the best hands on the team. He's showing there that not only does he have good hands, but he's got some hops.
Yeah, he was your player to watch at the beginning of the season.
First and goal from the 1. They hand it off to Soto. Soto's in for a touchdown, and the Falcons lead 20-0.
Yeah, it's almost too easy. I mean, the way this offensive line is playing right now, and I mean, you're 2 to 3 yards before you're ever touched, and they definitely showed it there at the 1-yard line, knowing that it's going to be a run.
There's still 11 seconds left to play in the first quarter. The Falcons looking to go up 21-0. This time they're going to fake the field goal, run it up the middle, and the 2-point conversion is good. It's 22-0 at North Forney on top. You're listening to North Forney Falcons football here on the Goonville Radio Network.
Our hometown Taco Casa is proud to support the outstanding programs of North Forney High School, the amazing staff, and great students. Taco Casa, still the same since 1972. Real fresh, real food, real good.
Your next new car is waiting for you at Musser Chevrolet in Terrell. Musser's has been in business since 1962, making great deals on new and pre-owned cars and trucks. They also offer top-of-the-line automotive service by trained technicians with the most current diagnostic and repair equipment available. And they'll even offer you a free loan car while your GM car is serviced. Visit Musser Chevrolet today for your new Chevrolet or quality pre-owned vehicle. Musser Chevrolet is at 1212 Westmore Avenue in Terrell.
You're listening to North Forney Falcons football on the Goonville Radio Network.
$22-0. Falcons lead the Jackrabbits from Citibank Stadium. Thank you to everybody tuning in, listening on YouTube and SHN Sports. This one's going to be a squib down the middle of the field. It's going to be picked up at about the 35-yard line. And the Jackrabbits return it out to the 42. Actually, they'll say the 43. Seven seconds left here in the first quarter. And it has been utter domination from the Falcons. The Jackrabbits with just 1 first down on the night. And that didn't come until a minute 50 left in the first quarter. Anderson, the quarterback, Phillips, the running back. 2 receivers to the left and 1 to the right. Falcons showing blitz. And they hand it off to Phillips. In the backfield meeting here was Patrick Lacey. He was able to get away from him, but not from Josh Anderson. And that's a gain of 1, and that'll bring us to the end of the first quarter. After a quarter of play, again, it's the Falcons 22 and the Jackrabbits nothing. You're listening to North Forney Falcons football right here on the Goonville Radio Network.
Hey Falcons fans, are you looking for a local streamlined real estate experience? I'm John Finkenbeiner with Exalt Realty, and in my 12 years in real estate, I have perfected the art of keeping the process of buying and selling simple and easy. Whether it's a buyer's or a seller's market or somewhere in between, make sure you call me, John Finkenbeiner, where real estate is made easy at 469-556-8392. Go Falcons!
Sticky Ribs Barbecue is a family-owned business located in Forney, Texas. We have all of your favorite smoked meats complemented with homemade sides. Take a bite of our mouth-watering barbecue, slow smoked to perfection over Texas post oak on traditional barbecue pits. We offer full-service catering for any size event. Visit us at stickyribsbarbecue.com or on our Facebook page. That's Sticky with no C and Ribs with a Z. Contact us today and see what you've been missing. Sticky Ribs Barbecue. Get addicted. Your go-to for barbecue. You're listening to North Forney Falcons football on the Goonville Radio Network.
Falcons leading 22-0 as we get ready to start the second quarter here from Citibank Stadium. Touchdowns from Jacob Soto, Ty Collins, and then a touchdown reception from Tucker to DeJuan Johnson as the three scores for North Forney. Second down and 9 for the Jackrabbits from their own 44-yard line. And we're set to get under play here in the second. And in motion from right to left. Anderson takes the snap, fakes the handoff, looking to throw. Now has to take off and run. He's able to drag a defender ahead for a couple of yards. It looked like DeMarcus Kirk, the one getting back there first. Or maybe that was Donovan Holt, actually.
I think that was Donovan Holt able to get back. I don't know if that was designed kind of quarterback draw. But, I mean, he showed pass for half a second and then said, nope, I'm going to take off.
So it brings up a Sticky Ribs Barbecue third down, money down. 3rd and 6 for the Jackrabbits. Falcons showing pressure. Man in motion for the Jackrabbits. And we've got a false start as well from Forney. Looks like their tight end, Chase Berg, moved a little early.
I know usually if the tight end's taking off, that means he was probably getting ready to go into a route somewhere. Got a little anxious. I tell you, if you're Forney, you better do something other than run the ball, because this Falcon defensive line is just eating that offensive line up early in this game.
Well, and the problem when he drops back to passes, he just does not have time either. And then they're being locked down on the back end. Still 3rd and 11 now. And they're going to hand it off to Phillips. Phillips with a crease to run, but then he gets dropped, and the ball comes loose. Picked up by North Forney. This one could go back the other way. It's Donovan Holt. He makes a man miss, still on his feet, picks up a block inside the 15, inside the 5, falling ahead for a touchdown, and North Forney scores on the fumble return. Donovan Holt with a nice return, picking up a number of downfield blocks along the way. What a beautiful fumble return for a touchdown.
I mean, there were 3 Jackrabbits there to make the play. Holt just made the first guy miss, and then give credit to the defense getting downfield and say, we're putting this in the end zone, and 2 or 3 blocks right at the goal line. Just excellent execution.
And for a second, it looked like Phillips was going to have the first down. I mean, he darted through the hole, and it was a couple of yards away from the first down. Then all of a sudden, just got stuck by a couple of Falcons, and then I think that's where he lost the ball. The ball popped loose. Holt was able to basically kind of bounced up in his lap. He fielded it cleanly, went down the field for a touchdown. And the Falcons now leading 29-0. You're listening to North Forney Falcons football on the Goonville Radio Network.
Your new Cadillac is as close as Musser Cadillac in Terrell. Musser's has been making great deals on new and pre-owned cars and trucks since 1962. And you're sure to get a great deal on a new Cadillac when you visit Musser's in Terrell. They also offer top-of-the-line automotive service by trained technicians with the most current diagnostic and repair equipment available. And they'll even offer you a free loan car while your GM car is serviced. Visit Musser Cadillac today for your new Cadillac or quality pre-owned vehicle. Musser's is at 1212 Westmore Avenue in Terrell.
Our hometown Taco Casa is proud to support the outstanding programs of North Forney High School, the amazing staff, and great students. Taco Casa, right here in Forney, Texas, feeding hungry folks since 2010. Real fresh, real food, real good.
You're listening to North Forney Falcons football on the Goonville Radio Network.
I guess maybe the one bad thing here, Wally, I don't know if North Forney's defense has played this much.
Well, the good thing is they're not having to play a whole lot each possession. They're only out there for a couple plays, and they either force a turnover or they force a 3-and-out. 10:52 to play in the second quarter. North Forney already up 29-0. Rodriguez will launch this one down the field, and they're going to field it in the end zone. They're going to bring it out. It's an interesting decision there across the 10-yard line, but not to the 15. And he brought down, or across the 15, brought down at the 17-yard line.
And you can see, even on that tackle there, you had your North Forney defenders ripping at the ball and doing their best to get that ball on the ground.
Yeah, that's what we call blood, and they smell that blood in the water. So first down and 10 for the Jackrabbits from their own 18-yard line. It has been tough going for this Jackrabbit offense. Last year they were able to move the ball a little bit in the first half against the Falcons defense, but so far in this game that has not been the case. One first down through a quarter, a little bit of change to play. And we've got whistles and a flag. I think that's going to be a delay of game.
Yeah, it's tough having a delay of game on your first play of the drive.
Yeah, that's how you know this isn't going well for you.
They probably had that play cooked up since the last time they were on offense.
Well, this game has a chance, and we're early in it, but this game has a chance to be even a bigger blowout than 2 years ago. And I thought coming into this one that North Forney had the better team, and I felt if they played their game that this wouldn't be close, and they're making that sound like an understatement so far. Handoff around the right side, cutting back up the field across the 20-yard line is Josh Stevens.
You know, a pass play like that of almost 9 yards, and you had Patrick Lacey, defensive lineman, running downfield to make that play. Your defensive line has just come to play tonight, all across the board.
Anderson in the shotgun, takes the snap, hands it off to Stevens again. Stevens falls ahead for a gain of a couple, and that'll bring up a Sticky Ribs barbecue third down, money down.
Again, Patrick Lacey in on the stop.
Looks like 3rd and 3. It looks like that Dalbert Zingningong.
Dow, like we call him Dow.
Has come in to play running back. And they'll hand it off to Dow. Dell met in the backfield and brought down, I believe that's that's Josh Anderson. All by himself, bringing down Dow.
Well, I hate to keep harping on it, Wally, but, I mean, it's like the defensive lineman saying, okay, my turn, okay, I'm up, I'm next. And they're just play after play after play here in this first half. They have absolutely dominated this game.
Under 9.5 minutes left in the second quarter. Jackrabbits will have to punt again. Like I've been saying that all night long. Ortega to do the punting duties for the Jackrabbits. Standing at his own 35-yard line is Colin Shipley to return for the Falcons. This one's a high spiraling punt. Drives Shipley back inside his own 30, and he stumbles down to the ground as he fields it, and they're going to mark him at the 20, it's at the 29.
You know, the Falcons are really lucky there. They didn't have maybe even a running into the kicker. There was some slight contact, and the kicker, or the punter, kind of fell down and tried to sell it.
9 minutes even to play in the second quarter. Falcons leading 29-0. Falcons have only had to punt the ball one time in this game.
The Jackrabbit defense late getting onto the field.
So first and 10 for North Forney. Turning and handing it off to Collins. Collins up the middle. Pulling a couple of Jackrabbits with him. Across the 30-yard line out to the 32. And he's got a gain of 5 on the play.
I imagine, Wally, you're probably going to see a whole lot of that here late in the second quarter. Until they stop it, that's what you got to do.
Another handoff to Collins. This time he gets tripped up right as he crosses the line of scrimmage. Stumbles ahead for a couple more. Out to the 35. He'll be 2 yards short of the first, and they'll bring up 3rd down and 2 for North Forney.
Yeah, very manageable down the distance here with just 2 runs right up the middle. I imagine you probably see another one right here.
In the shotgun. Tucker bobbled the snap. He pitches it out to Collins, who breaks a tackle in the backfield, still on his feet, spins away from another one, still going, all the way down to the Jackrabbit 45. That looked like a disaster of a play. Tucker bobbled the snap and then had to quickly pitch it out. Collins met a defender right in the backfield as soon as he caught the ball. A nice, nifty move to get away from him. And then all the way down to the 45, rumbled Collins. Tucker looking deep off the play action. Looking for Boo. Boo goes up and gets it. There are flags on the play. One in the backfield and one where the catch was made.
That's kind of a hard play to throw a flag on. It was almost a jump ball type.
And this one might actually be offensive pass interference against the Falcons. It didn't look like a whole lot there. He did kind of use his arm. That's actually Cam Allen on that far side, who we know can go up and get the ball in one-on-one situations. He had the touchdown catch in the back corner of the end zone last week.
We got a flag here in the backfield, too. I don't know if that's for the same thing or
well, a Falcon player lost his helmet in that backfield. I don't know if that had something to do with it or not. So they are marking it back towards North Forney's side of the field. So that should be offensive pass interference on that far side against Cam Allen and the Falcons. But what is this flag in the backfield and who is it against? 7:50 remaining in the second quarter.
Well, they've already marked it off, so it can't be offsetting.
Well, it could.
As they bring it back.
I think that's what they're just trying to figure out now. I don't know if it's illegal hands to the face or a face mask. Like I said, a Falcon player lost. It was Collins, I think, who lost his helmet in the backfield. It went rolling about 7 or 8 yards back behind him. We're about to get the call here from the head umpire. Actually,
Personal foul. Defense. That penalty accepted. 15 yards.
So the rest, Mike's still on there. He said, "What?" And that's what they're telling him. They're like, "No, there's another."
Well, he was about to say it when they were blowing the whistle. He had his hands for pass interference. He just didn't quite get it out before they blew him with the whistle. It's going to be replay the down, essentially.
Yep. So it looks like we will go right back to the 45-yard line and go back to it being first down and 10.
I don't think Coach is happy with the pass interference call.
Personal foul on the defense. Offensive pass interference on the offense. No penalty off that.
So finally, after all that's said and done, it is offsetting penalties. We will redo first down for the Jackrabbit 45.
All they had to do was call up here and ask. We could have told them.
Tucker, the quarterback, Soto to his left. He hands it off to Soto up the middle. Bursts through the hole. Makes the safety miss. There's a flag on the near sideline. All the way down inside the 10 and brought down before he can make it into the end zone is Jacob Soto. But there is a flag on the near side of the field. We'll see if that's against the Falcon receiver or the Jackrabbit cornerback.
Yeah, the problem is it really had nothing to do with the play, unfortunately, if it was against the Falcons.
In the area of holding.
They said personal foul. I guess it got a little scrappy down here on the sideline. Whatever it was, it happened quick.
So that big play gets erased. Instead of it being first down and 10, I'll imagine it would be first and 25 after the personal foul.
Back-to-back plays with personal fouls. Might be starting to get a little chippy out there with the lead the way it is.
So it's first and 16 now.
I guess it was a spot of the foul top.
Interesting.
Penalty.
And throw it out quickly. It's caught by Cam Allen. He has to go down to the ground to make the catch. A short gain of about 4. And with 7:20 remaining in the second quarter, that's going to bring up a second down and 13 for North Forney.
Yeah, coach is not real happy.
Get a timeout as well. 7:11 to play in the second quarter. 29-0 Falcons leading. Get a timeout on the field. We'll take a timeout as well. You're listening to North Forney Falcons football on the Goonville Radio Network.
Football season is in full swing. Elevate your game day experience with Edible Arrangements. Their fresh, handcrafted fruit is dipped in rich chocolate to create delicious, indulgent party platters. Visit the nearest Edible location in Rockwall or call 972-771-6454. You can also check them out at edible.com. Be sure to mention the code word Goonville on your next order and receive 10% off. Let Edible help you win your next game day before it even starts.
You're listening to North Forney Falcons football on the Goonville Radio Network.
29-0 Falcons leading. They're facing a 2nd down and 13 from the Jackrabbit 48-yard line. Tucker in the shotgun. Soto, the running back, to his left. 3 receivers split out to the far side of the field to the left. And 1 on the right. Ball's on the right hash. And the whistle blows to get back to action. Tucker takes the snap, hands it off to Soto. Soto met right at the line of scrimmage. And now there's a big scrum, pushing both sides. Soto never goes down, but he only gains about a yard, and that's going to bring up a long 3rd down for the Falcons offense, facing a 3rd and 12.
A really nice play there. Middle linebacker stepping up in the hole and stuff, and you don't hardly see that very often with Soto getting a head start.
2 receivers to the left. Tucker takes the snap, fakes the handoff. He's got a little time in the end zone. Some miscommunication between he and his receiver on the far side of the field. So he overthrows that one as the receiver stopped. Brings up 4th and 12, we'll see. And the Falcons will, in fact, bring out the punt team.
Yeah,
well, that drive is one to forget for the Falcons.
Well, it was weird. He had the long play brought back by personal foul or the offsetting penalties.
Had another long play.
Yeah, another long play with a personal foul. Brought it back.
It's going to be hard to overcome multiple big penalties like that on the same drive. Rodriguez to punt. Nice high punt. It's going to be fair caught at the 5-yard line by Zarek Waters. And the Jackrabbits offense, who has not had much going tonight, will trot out to the 5-yard line to start things off. 6:28 to play in the first half. 29-0, Falcons on top. Like you've mentioned a couple times, I want to mention it too, that defensive line has been so good tonight. We've mentioned Anderson's name. We've mentioned Brown's name. We've mentioned Nemo's name. We've mentioned Lacey's name. They've all wreaked havoc. Falcons showing a blitz up the middle. A run around the left side, being brought down and hit hard for a loss of 3 back to their own 2-yard line.
Yeah, it looks like Nemo kind of stood him up a little bit, and boy, Roger Brown came in and just laid the hammer down.
And Roger Brown's one guy that I would not want hitting me. He's kind of built like a
semi.
I was going to say Aaron Donald, but I guess it's close to the same thing.
Yeah.
He's stocky. He's not big. Like you look at Patrick Lacey, you look at Jerome Collins, Josh Saint, those guys are big. Anderson's got good size, but he's just so quick and nimble for the guy his size. This time dropped right at the line of scrimmage, coming up to make that play from his safety position is Jeremy Bailey.
Yeah, he didn't need any help with that one, Wally. He just, on a dime, looked like Palomalo used to look like back in the day, just a beeline and knocked him off his feet.
Now to bring up third and 14. It's a Sticky Ribs Barbecue 3rd down, money down.
This is safety territory, too, especially if you're going to try to drop back and pass, which they do.
Anderson looking deep, being pressured in the end zone. He's having to roll out to his right. Now throws deep down the field, and it's going to fall harmlessly incomplete. Coach Jackson wanting a flag on the play. I'm not sure for what.
6 for Forney was definitely in the picture. Just maybe 2 or 3 feet from that pass.
So the Jackrabbits will have to punt. They're going to be backed up in their own end zone. We'll see if North Forney doesn't try to decide to come after this one, or they're going to set up the punt return.
Yeah, I don't know what you risk the penalty. It's big, high risk, high reward for here for sure to see what they do.
Shipley standing at the Jackrabbit 41-yard line. Ortega on to punt for Forney. Forney bringing a little pressure, but not a whole lot of one. Shipley called for a fair catch, then bobbled it and had to go jump on it. There was nobody near him.
Well, he called fair catch anyway, so if he'd have picked it up, they'd have called him dead.
I'm not sure if you bobble it and go to the ground. I don't know. But I would probably imagine that you probably can't run after that. But nonetheless, they will start out from the Jackrabbit 45-yard line with 4:56 to play in the second quarter. Of course, at halftime, we'll have Tim Danziger jump on with us from the Forney Messenger. You can catch his articles every Thursday from there. And we've got a Jackrabbit player down on the field. And as he's down, we'll go ahead and take a quick step away. You're listening to North Forney Falcons football on the Goonville Radio Network.
Football season is in full swing. Elevate your game day experience with edible arrangements. Their fresh, handcrafted fruit is dipped in rich chocolate to create delicious, indulgent party platters. Visit the nearest edible location in Rockwall or call 972-771-6454. You can also check them out at edible.com. Be sure to mention the code word Goonville on your next order and receive 10% off. Let Edible help you win your next game day before it even starts.
You're listening to North Forney Falcons football on the Goonville Radio Network.
29-0. Falcons leading with 4:56 left in the second quarter. The player that was down was Weston Beeman. He is up and running back to his sideline.
Well, he's kind of skipping a little bit, not really running.
So North Forney takes over from the Jackrabbit 46-yard line. Tucker in at quarterback in the shotgun. One receiver to the left and three to the right. Soto is the running back to his right. They'll send Soto in motion out to the right. They'll throw it out there to him, and it's knocked and deflected away by the Jackrabbit player. And that was Caden Cross. Cross, I saw him coming in on the blitz, and it just happened to be, again, at the right place, the right time, coming off the edge.
And that was really close to being a lateral there.
Yeah, this was a college or pro game. They could have reviewed that one and saw, but of course not here in high school. Hand it off out the middle to Soto. Soto puts his head down, barrels his way for a gain of 8 down to the Jackrabbit 38-yard line, and it brings up 3rd down and 2 for the Falcons offense.
Yeah, at this point in time, that's really all you need to do. Just hand the ball off, go get your yards.
Up the middle, it's Soto. He loses the ball as he goes down to the ground. They're going to say that the ground caused the fumble. Looked like North Forney jumped back on it anyways, but that's a couple of times now. And Coach Jackson he's not going to be happy even though the ground caused that. That's the 4th or 5th time the ball's been on the ground for North Forney. And they cannot have that. That'll be the only thing that derails this game. And we've got whistles on the play. It looks like a Forney defender is down, couldn't get off to the sideline. So we've got a timeout on the field. We'll take a timeout as well. 29-0 Jackrabbit, or the Falcons lead with 4:11 to play on the Goonville Radio Network.
Football season is in full swing. Elevate your game day experience with edible arrangements. Their fresh, handcrafted fruit is dipped in rich chocolate to create delicious, indulgent party platters. Visit the nearest edible location in Rockwall or call 972-771-6454. You can also check them out at edible.com. Be sure to mention the code word Goonville on your next order and receive 10% off. Let Edible help you win your next game day before it even starts.
You're listening to North Forney Falcons football on the Goonville Radio Network.
Tucker takes the snap, hands it off the middle to Collins. And we got a big pile of players, and it finally goes down. It's a gain of, looks like 7 on the play.
Yeah, it looks like the referees forgot where their whistles were.
They did let that one go on for quite some time. 3:40 to play in the second quarter. Falcons driving inside the 25-yard line, facing a 2nd down and 3. Hand it off to Collins. Collins makes a move in the backfield and gets upended, but he does get a 1st down to the Jackrabbit 18.
Well, give credit to the Falcon running backs. Not only they're getting holes, but they're breaking tackles. It's 2 or 3 guys before they're on the ground.
Another handoff. This time met right at the line of scrimmage is Colin. And there is a flag on the far side of the field, right at the line of scrimmage. As it stands right now, it looks like a gain of just maybe a yard. Of course, at halftime, we'll have Tim Danziger up here to jump on with us. We'll talk about the first half and preview the second half of the Unity Bowl.
Yeah, it looks like the cornerback on the far side, he is not happy, kind of pleading his case to the referee.
Yeah, personal foul penalty, so that'll be an automatic first down. And it'll be half the distance to the goal. They'll march it down to the 8-yard line. Soto in at running back. Shipley and DeJuan Johnson, the two receivers to the left, came out, and the far receiver to the right. Let's see if they throw a fade. They don't. They hand it off up the middle to Soto. Soto lunges for the end zone. He's got it. Another touchdown for North Forney.
I tell you, that's probably the third or fourth touchdown on the same exact play, just right up the gut. Just nothing really. It's not really a size difference, but I'm telling you, both sides of the ball, the Falcons have just dominated the line of scrimmage, and that's really been the story of this whole season, the first 3 games.
Yep, and like I said, they had 492 yards rushing last week. They're going to get close to that again this week. The extra point kick is up, and it is good. And the Falcons lead 36-0. You're listening to North Forney Falcons football on the Goonville Radio Network.
Your new Cadillac is as close as Musser Cadillac in Terrell. Musser's has been making great deals on new and pre-owned cars and trucks since 1962. And you're sure to get a great deal on a new Cadillac when you visit Musser's in Terrell. They also offer top-of-the-line automotive service by trained technicians with the most current diagnostic and repair equipment available. And they'll even offer you a free loan car while your GM car is serviced. Visit Musser Cadillac today for your new Cadillac or quality pre-owned vehicle. Musser's is at 1212 Westmore Avenue in Terrell.
Our hometown Taco Casa is proud to support the outstanding programs of North Forney High School, the amazing staff, and great students. Taco Casa, right here in Forney, Texas, feeding hungry folks since 2010. Real fresh, real food, real good.
You're listening to North Forney Falcons football on the Goonville Radio Network.
36-0. Falcons leading big in the 2019 Unity Bowl, the first district game of the year. And Rodriguez boots this one away. It's a low line drive kick fielded at the 12-yard line. Starting from his right, cutting back across the left and then up the field, out across the 35-yard line is Riley McMurrin.
Well, there was any question whether, with it being what the score is, whether these teams are going to be, playing hard. Proof was in that kickoff right there. There was players flying everywhere. You seen cleats up in the air, and they're still fighting.
Well, and something that I don't think a lot of people think about is with Coach Aaron Woods on the other side. It's just his second year, so he's still trying to establish the culture, still establish kind of his motto, if you want to say. So they're going to fight to the finish here. I don't think they're going to give up anytime soon. They throw out quickly and met for a big loss. They tried a screen play, and I believe that is Trey Barksdale.
Yeah, Trey Barksdale played that perfectly. Extended his arms, got the blocker kind of off of him, and then just ripped right past him and made the tackle for a loss. Of course, he wasn't there alone either. Within a split second, you had 3 or 4 other blue shirts all around him.
Well, that's something that Coach Jackson talked about in the week. It's probably their greatest attribute as a defense is that they have multiple guys at the ball every time, and they fly to the ball. They turn and pitch it out to Stevens. Stevens dropped for another loss. I feel like I've said that I don't know how many times this game. I'm going to go back and track how many tackles for loss this North Forney defense has had.
Yeah, the same thing on the other side. Jeremy Bailey, again, had a blocker right on him, but just wasn't able to get the job done. Jeremy Bailey, nice tackle, again for loss.
I'll bring up a Sticky Ribs Barbecue third down, money down, 3rd and 16.
And he's going to go down for a sack. We do have a penalty in the secondary.
Be interesting to see. That'd be unfortunate if it's against the Falcons. It'll
they're saying
be an automatic first down.
Well, the flag was thrown after the quarterback was already been hit once.
We've got a kind of a conference going on now between the officials.
I think they're talking about the timing of this thing. Of when exactly did the penalty occur, Your Honor?
As it stands right now, it'll be a 4th and 15.
Yeah, North Forney's looks like they're backing up.
And that'll be a gut punch for the Falcons defense. They were about to get off the field. We'll see if it's an automatic first down. I would imagine if it's in the secondary, it is.
Well, it may be a spot of the foul. I mean, not a spot of the foul, but just your standard 5-yard penalty.
Well, that's what it may have been. That's what it looks like right now, as it is a 10-yard penalty from the line of scrimmage. And that would bring up a 3rd down and 5. Coach Woods on the far sidelines wanted an explanation. It's holding against North Forney is the official word. And it'll be 3rd down. So they'll do that from the line of scrimmage or a spot of the foul. It was about the same place. So Sticky Ribs Barbecue, 3rd down, money down. It's 3rd and 5. In the shotgun is Anderson. 3 receivers to the right. He'll turn and hand it off to Phillips. Phillips trying to get away from the defender. Looking for the first down, but he's going to be a couple of yards short. He needed to get to the 46, and they'll mark him at the 44. They'll bring up 4th and 2. And Jackrabbits still in their own territory. Do they go for it? Down 36-0.
Yeah, it was like a hard-fought run there for positive yards. Chandler McGee was able to stop the momentum just short of the first down. We've called his name a few times tonight.
Anderson in the shotgun. Jackrabbits will go for it on 4th down and 2 from their own 44-yard line. Anderson takes the snap, drops back. He's looking to set up a screen to the right, and it's blown up by DeMarcus Kirk. A loss of 5 on the play, and that turns the ball over on downs.
Yeah.
Man, Kirk was all over that.
He knew how big of a play that was because he stood up and he immediately started walking with that swagger. Big time play there.
A couple of times now we've called Kirk's name defensively. He has just been so many players. We've called Jeremy Bailey's name a couple of times. Donovan Holt a few times. We've already talked about how many times we've called every one of the defensive linemen's names. That defense has it's almost like they took last year's loss personal to the Jackrabbits because, the Jackrabbits put up 30-something points against them, scored a couple of touchdowns late. I think they feel like they've kind of taken this one a little bit. See what it seems like to me. They took that loss a little personal. And they were going to come out in this game and say, that ain't happening for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of these guys that are making these plays and didn't play last year. I think it was kind of a pride as a whole saying, hey, our team just did not perform like we wanted to in this, especially this game. And, man, have they come out in this first half and just put an old-fashioned whooping.
A minute 23 left in the first half. 36-0, the Falcons lead. They've got the ball again in Jackrabbit territory at the Forney 39-yard line. Tucker in at quarterback. LaMarcus Kirk in motion from left to right. They fake the pitch to him, and now Tucker's going to roll out to the left on himself. And cut back up the field, and it gets dropped out of bounds. Maybe got back to the line of scrimmage. I'm not sure what that play was. It wasn't a good one, I can tell you that. That's going to keep us right here at 2nd down and 10. And now they're going to run the Wildcat. LaMarcus Kirk will come over to play quarterback. Tucker will go out to receiver. Kirk takes the snap. And Kirk will get dropped in the backfield for a loss. Coming down to make the play defensively from his outside linebacker position, Caden Cross.
Yeah, one of the few times that we've seen here in this first half where Falcons just get beaten on a block.
Well, and I think the Jackrabbits are keying in when Kirk is back there. They're running the ball up the middle, especially if he's the only guy in the backfield. So they were able to crash in from that defensive end, that outside backer spot. Tucker back at quarterback, facing a 3rd and 11. Fake the handoff, drops back. He's got some time. He's looking for a man. It's Colin Shipley. He goes up and snags it away from 2 defenders. What a catch. Another acrobatic leap from Colin Shipley for a big, big play. Down to the 15-yard line. And the Falcons back to the line of scrimmage quickly. They turn and hand it off to Collins. Collins got a burst, untouched all the way to the end zone, and the Falcons score again.
You know, it was the real quick play right off of the big play. I think the Jackrabbits were still saying, okay, maybe even talking to themselves for a second, saying we got to get that out of our mind. And before you know it, the ball was already snapped again, and just the momentum and the tempo together is just something that Forney cannot handle tonight.
The Falcons putting on an offensive array. The extra point kick is up, and it's good. North Forney leading 43-0 with 29 seconds to play in the first half. You're listening to North Forney Falcons football on the Goonville Radio Network.
Hey Falcons fans, are you looking for a local streamlined real estate experience? I'm John Finkenbeiner with Exalt Realty, and in my 12 years in real estate, I have perfected the art of keeping the process of buying and selling simple and easy. Whether it's a buyer's or a seller's market or somewhere in between, make sure you call me, John Finkenbeiner, where real estate is made easy at 469-556-8392. Go Falcons!
Sticky Ribs Barbecue is a family-owned business located in Forney, Texas. We have all of your favorite smoked meats complemented with homemade sides. Take a bite of our mouth-watering barbecue, slow smoked to perfection over Texas post oak on traditional barbecue pits. We offer full-service catering for any size event. Visit us at stickyribsbarbecue.com or on our Facebook page. That's Sticky with no C and Ribs with a Z. Contact us today and see what you've been missing. Sticky Ribs Barbecue. Get addicted. Your go-to for barbecue. You're listening to North Forney Falcons football on the Goonville Radio Network. $43-0. The score, the Falcons lead here from Citibank Stadium. It's Wally and James. We got 29 seconds before halftime.
That's a long 29 seconds if you're a Jackrabbit fan.
What a stark contrast from last year's game. Forney came back and won. I don't foresee a comeback in this one. Filled at the 5-yard line by McMurrin. McMurrin started up the middle, and he's going to be wrapped up by Trey Barksdale. And they'll mark him at the 20-yard line.
I think you're gonna be amused by one of the questions that I sent for Coach Jackson, because I wrote it in the first quarter, and the question kind of seems silly now, but you'll see when we get to that point.
We'll see. It's not. The question is not, am I amused by it? The question is Coach Jackson amused by it?
He's liable to give a chuckle. He's liable to give a chuckle.
For somebody who's up 43-0 at half, he's spent a lot of time pretty upset.
Yeah, that poor headset he's got wearing. I don't know if he's going to need some new cords or something.
And it's a good thing he doesn't wear a hat, because that hat would be on the ground so much tonight. Handoff up the middle to Phillips. Phillips trying to carve his way through the middle of the Falcons defense. Gains 5 out to the 25-yard line. And I imagine the Jackrabbits are pretty content with to let the clock run out. And sure enough, they're already heading off. Actually, they're meeting at the 50-yard line. That's what the state of the Jackrabbit team is right now. They're having to have a big meeting at the 50-yard line before they head off for halftime. But that does bring us to halftime. The halftime score is 43-0. Falcons up a big over the Jackrabbits in the first district game of the year. We'll head to halftime where Tim Danziger will jump on with us. You're listening to North Forney Falcons football on the Goonville Radio Network.
Sticky Ribs Barbecue is a family-owned business located in Forney, Texas. We have all of your favorite smoked meats complemented with homemade sides. Take a bite of our mouth-watering barbecue, slow smoked to perfection over Texas post oak on traditional barbecue pits. We offer full-service catering for any size event. Visit us at stickyribsbarbecue.com or on our Facebook page. That's Sticky with no C and Ribs with a Z. Contact us today and see what you've been missing. Sticky Ribs Barbecue. Get addicted. Your go-to for barbecue.
Hey Falcons fans, are you looking for a local streamlined real estate experience? I'm John Finkenbeiner with Exalt Realty, and in my 12 years in real estate, I have perfected the art of keeping the process of buying and selling simple and easy. Whether it's a buyer's or a seller's market or somewhere in between, make sure you call me, John Finkenbeiner, where real estate is made easy at 469-556-8392. Go Falcons!
Our hometown Taco Casa is proud to support the outstanding programs of North Forney High School, the amazing staff, and great students. Taco Casa, still the same since 1972. Real fresh, real food, real good.
Your next new car is waiting for you at Musser Chevrolet in Terrell. Musser's has been in business since 1962, making great deals on new and pre-owned cars and trucks. They also offer top-of-the-line automotive service by trained technicians with the most current diagnostic and repair equipment available. And they'll even offer you a free loan car while your GM car is serviced. Visit Musser Chevrolet today for your new Chevrolet or quality pre-owned vehicle. Musser Chevrolet is at 1212 Westmore Avenue in Terrell.
You're listening to North Forney Falcons football on the Goonville Radio Network.
Welcome back to the halftime show here on the Goonville Radio Network as the Falcons lead 43-0 at halftime over the Forney Jackrabbits as the Jackrabbit band come making their way out onto the field. I've got Tim Danziger up here with us from the Forney Messenger. Tim, where do we start? I mean, you could start anywhere. I'll let you you take it somewhere. We'll go because you could go so many different ways with this.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is coming into this game, you didn't know which Forney Jackrabbits you were going to get. Were you going to get the team that put up 45 points on Richardson-Berkner week 1 or the one that got shut out at against Lindale here last week? I think we now have our answer of which team we're getting. But, boy, I'll tell you what, I mean, the Falcons I think we start on the defense. I don't know what the stats are, but I can tell you with utmost certainty that the Jackrabbits have negative yards in this game. That Falcons defense is everywhere, and anything that the Jackrabbits try, they get shut down. And it's not just getting shut down, they're getting hit hard, they're getting hit in the backfield, and they're not getting any yards. And just that swarming defense that we've been talking about all season is they showed up tonight, and they've got something to prove. Offensively, I mean, how do you argue? You got 43 points. You probably could have more. I think there were a couple things that Coach Jackson is going to be talking to them about. I'm sure that he once again will lovingly have his conversation about penalties. Jacob Soto had a long, I think, 42-yard run that got called back because of a dumb penalty.
Boneheaded, yeah.
It was
nowhere near.
It was on the opposite side of the field, and it was 40 yards behind it. And those are the things that are going to come back to bite you against the good teams, and that's something that we got to look at. The other thing is, Tucker did really well last week. This week, they've had some miscommunication. There was one where I think Nick Boo cut a route short. Tucker threw the deep ball on that one.
They
weren't on the same page, right? Yeah. So I mean, there's always things that you can work on, but boy, you have to be impressed with 43-0 at the half.
Well, and I do want to talk about the defense, and even though we James and I have been mentioning it all half, especially the defensive line. Me and you have talked about it. Coach Jackson harped on it. Coach Porter, we had the defensive coordinator on this week at the coaches show. He talked about it. I asked him who's been the most impressive unit of your defense this year. He's like, well, I got to say the defensive line. They've all been good, but it all starts up front. My goodness, Roderick Brown, Josh Anderson, Patrick Lacey, Nemo, and then that just the defensive line alone. And then you've got the backers coming up to make plays. Donovan Holt and DeMarcus Kirk made a couple of really big plays in the backfield. It took the Jackrabbits didn't get their first down of the game until 1:50 left in the first quarter.
Yeah.
You're playing some pretty good defense when it takes that long to get your first down of the game.
You look for the combination of size and speed, and that's something that in the past the Falcons have had size but not speed or speed but not size. This is kind of the complete package where they've got guys that are fast, they play hard, and they're monsters. They're big guys that just fight through that line. And boy, I'll tell you what, anytime there were 3 or 4, probably more plays in the first half where the defensive line almost took the handoff from Campbell Anderson. It's just, it's phenomenal just to see them.
Well, and like you said, I don't know the stats. I'll have to go back tomorrow when we watch film and stuff and look at each play. But it's got to be over double digits now of tackles for loss, negative plays. And you mentioned they are probably somewhere in the negative range of total offense for this game. And you're right. And you kind of mentioned this, the first thing you said when you took the question, and that was everything they try. Everything they've tried to do offensively, North Forney has shut it down. They've tried a couple of little trick plays, didn't work. They've dropped back and passed. He's getting pressured as soon as he takes the snap. Every time they've handed it off, the guys are having to elude players in the backfield. And the other thing, I think you hit it right on the head. is that they're not just getting tackled; they're getting popped. And I told James this on air. Somewhere about midway through the second quarter, I was like, this feels a little bit personal. And of course, it's the Unity Bowl. It's always personal. This is extra personal, I think, from last year because North Forney, they should have won that game. They feel like, hey, we let that one get away. That shouldn't have happened. And it feels like this year they came out with the decision before the game started. We are not going to let that happen this year. And everything all the way down to the tackling feels like that kind of been their MO.
Yeah, and I think that even 2 years ago when they won their first Unity Bowl, we're sitting in the stands thinking, come on, let's keep going. And I think Coach Jackson sort of pulled back the reins and said, all right, we've made our point. Well, after last year, I think you're right. I think they're not going to take any chances. You're up by 15 in the fourth quarter. You give that game away. I don't see that happening. I don't see them taking their foot off the pedal this time.
Well, and the other thing, too, with the other player I really want to kind of bring, spotlight, Colin Shipley. The first thing that came to my mind, and I didn't even say it on air, but I thought about it, white men can jump. I mean, we know about how athletic he is. He's really athletic. His brothers, too, that played baseball for a long time for North Forney. That's why he's such a good slot receiver because he's so quick. But he showed there that he's got some hops on both those long catches. It was just a jump ball. Tucker said, I trust my guy. And we see Cam Allen in that situation a lot of times. Colin Shipley did it twice in that first half. Just went up over the defenders and took the ball from them. That was fun to watch.
Well, it was. And the one that was down here at the opposite end of the scoreboard, that was just a great play. He had two guys on him. They were bracketed. He had a guy in front of him, a guy in back of him, and he took it away from the guy in front of him. The thing that I've talked about all along is he's extremely athletic, but he has incredible body control. When he goes up, he just hangs and kind of contorts himself to get to where the ball is. And he obviously has strong hands because in that case, the defender was right there, and he just ripped it away. So I mean, you're absolutely right. The kid's athletic. He's a perfect slot receiver for this team.
Well, and of course the running game's been going too. Soto and Collins are so good, and James every time they would do it, he'd say another handoff right up the middle, and it allows them to play fast because it's basically the same play, and they let they're reading that where Tucker can keep it if he wants to. Obviously, it's always open up the middle, so they're going to take that. But then they also just trust that Soto and Collins kind of make the right have good enough vision to make that right read and make the right moves, or where they can keep running that play. And it really what it does is it wears down that Jackrabbit defense, but you're not getting 2 or 3 yards a pop. You're getting 7 or 8 yards a pop, and we've seen it all year long. It just continues tonight. I told James is that they had 492 yards rushing last week against Wiley East. I said I wouldn't be surprised if they sniffed that again this week. They're well on their way.
Absolutely, and and we talked about it earlier. I mean, Soto had a 42-yard run that was called back on a penalty. So you could have added that. Could add that to it. It's just you're right, and they're making great reads. But boy, that offensive line. We talked about the defensive line and how nasty and ugly they are. Well, that offensive line is just the same. With Jeremiah Baker in the middle, and they got hogs all the way across there, and they're not real friendly guys. And and they're just going out there and they take it personally. They're like, hey, we got a running back behind us. We got to open up some holes, and that's what they're doing. And you're right, Soto and Collins are just they're finding those holes, and then they're making such great cuts, and just leaving the defenders behind them. I think at one point I wrote down, because I track every play, and I think I wrote 8 yards, 8 yards, 8 yards, 3 plays in a row, 8 yards at a pop.
I mean, that's a pretty good way to do offense, getting 8 yards and 8 yards at a time. Another player that I wanted to talk about a little bit is the quarterback, Zach Tucker. Of course, Acuna not playing tonight. Hopefully he'll be back next week. But Tucker came in to get the starts. Last week, we were impressed with how he played last week against Wiley East. He hasn't really had to do much here. He had the nice touchdown, the trick play for their first score, and then a couple of those throws he had up to Shipley. He seems to really have those jump ball throws down that I don't think Acuna really does yet. We've seen Acuna miss on a couple of attempts to Cam Allen early in the season. Last week, that was what Tucker came in and did right away was came on a perfect fade in the corner of the end zone. Then has these couple to Colin Shipley, and had another good one to Cam Allen that they actually called offensive pass interference on Cam for. But Tucker, when he's been called upon, he's really been throwing the ball well. He had a couple of the miscues, that miscommunication with Boo on that far sideline. other than that, he's made some really good throws.
He has, and I watched him a lot last year with the JV team, and he's got some zip on the ball, but he also has really nice touch on it as well. And I think that's something that you look for. I mean, a lot of guys, you think about a guy like Josh Allen playing for the Buffalo Bills now, one of the knocks on him is he doesn't have the touch. He can zip it, he can throw the ball 110 yards in the air, but he can't throw it 7 yards. And I think that what we've seen Tucker be able to do both. He can go long and hit guys in stride. He can also throw that short ball and put a little touch on it.
Yeah, it's been really nice to see him. It's just a good thing to know that in case Acuna misses extended period of time or gets hurt again, that there's a capable backup. And I don't think I know I haven't really felt that way with this program in a while, having a quarterback, the backup quarterback that you really trust and feel good about. So that's a really good thing to know, and he's kind of come in and at least shown that. Why don't we take a quick step away, and then we'll have James hop on, and you and him, I would say, preview the second half, but there's still so much for the first half you guys can get to as well. So we'll do that once we return right back here on the halftime show here on the Goonville Radio Network.
Sticky Ribs Barbecue is a family-owned business located in Forney, Texas. We have all of your favorite smoked meats complemented with homemade sides. Take a bite of our mouth-watering barbecue, slow-smoked to perfection over Texas post oak on traditional barbecue pits. We offer full-service catering for any size event. Visit us at stickyribsbarbecue.com or on our Facebook page. That's Sticky with no C and Ribs with a Z. Contact us today and see what you've been missing. Sticky Ribs Barbecue. Get addicted. Your go-to for barbecue.
Hey Falcons fans, are you looking for a local streamlined real estate experience? I'm John Finkenbeiner with Exalt Realty, and in my 12 years in real estate, I have perfected the art of keeping the process of buying and selling simple and easy. Whether it's a buyer's or a seller's market or somewhere in between, make sure you call me, John Finkenbeiner, where real estate is made easy at 469-556-8392. Go Falcons!
Our hometown Taco Casa is proud to support the outstanding programs of North Forney High School, the amazing staff, and great students. Taco Casa, still the same since 1972. Real fresh, real food, real good.
Your next new car is waiting for you at Musser Chevrolet in Terrell. Musser's has been in business since 1962, making great deals on new and pre-owned cars and trucks. They also offer top-of-the-line automotive service by trained technicians with the most current diagnostic and repair equipment available. And they'll even offer you a free loan car while your GM car is serviced. Visit Musser Chevrolet today for your new Chevrolet or quality pre-owned vehicle. Musser Chevrolet is at 1212 Westmore Avenue in Terrell.
You're listening to North Forney Falcons football on the Goonville Radio Network.
All right, welcome back to Citibank Stadium. We're here at halftime. James here, joined by Tim, and as the North Forney Falcon band begins to do their portion of the halftime show. So, Tim, I didn't quite get to hear all of the things that you and Wally were talking about. I know y'all were animated. That's the word. That's what we're looking for. And y'all were animated as you were talking about it. There's a lot of really good things to hash and talk about what we saw there in the first half, and I'd like to kind of turn our sights towards the second half and maybe what to expect here in the second half. And if you're North Forney, let's just start with North Forney. If you're North Forney, up 43-0 at halftime, it's still a rivalry game. What is the message that you would have to your team and have to come out in the second half and do what it is you're going to do?
Well, that's tough. I think I can see them keeping their foot on the gas pedal. Maybe send a message like, hey, you know what? Little brother's here now. The other thing that they want to do is we got tough district games coming up. You got to stay healthy.
True.
So I think those are probably the two biggest things. The other thing is, as these games typically do, they tend to get chippy. I would expect that Forney is going to come out and they're going to get frustrated. Everything they're doing is getting shut down, and that's hard to deal with. So they're going to get frustrated. So what North Forney has to do is they've got to step back and say, look, you can do what you want. We're not going to retaliate. We're not going to do anything because we're not going to take stupid penalties and let you back into this.
Right.
Now, they're at 43-0. It's going to take a lot to get them back into it, especially what we've seen in the first half. But I think they really need to be focused and disciplined in this second half and just keep doing what they've been doing.
Yeah, well, obviously, if Forney's going to make any kind of comeback or showing at all in the second half, it has to start with their offense. And So far, we've seen hardly next to nothing. I think it was the third possession of the game before they even have a positive play.
Yeah, they're just a step behind, and I don't know. I don't know how to explain that. I haven't watched any film. I don't know what they've done. They've always had athletes on this side of town, and I don't know. They just don't look like the Forney that we're used to seeing. They're a step slow. The plays don't develop like they maybe are anticipating they should. The other side of that is North Forney's defense. We talk about the embarrassment of riches on the offense, but boy, when you got a defensive line that can cause that much havoc and involve that many players, that allows that secondary really to kind of run free and make those plays, and that's what they're doing. The first guy gets there and either holds them up and 6 or 7 other guys come in and knock them down, or he just flat out knocks them down.
Sure.
And they're hitting hard.
Yeah, Wally and I watching that first half there, it was just a carousel of names for the defensive line between Lacey and Brown and Nemo and just, Lacey, Brown, Nemo, just time after time again. And I can't tell you how many times we said tackle for loss, tackle for loss, tackle for loss, a loss on the play. And so I think the key for North Forney in my mind is if you're going to come out and play in the second half and you're going to play your starters, you're going to play these guys, you have to give it 100% because it can be real easy to get in that mindset that says, you know what, let's just go 75% or whatever it is, or take a play off here, and that's when you really can get hurt.
Exactly, and as you started saying that's exactly what I thought. When you go kind of on cruise control and you're just out there playing, and you're not focused and you're not intense and you don't have your discipline, you're right. You're absolutely right, and that's when something happens where you're out of position. Somebody rolls up on you, somebody rolls into you, and we can't have that in a game that frankly is over. Right. And so the biggest thing here is to get out of this learning, because that's Coach Jackson is always looking for something to improve on. But most importantly, let's get out of here healthy, especially after last week when we lost Donaldson, we lost Acuna.
Right. Yeah, and talking, kind of swinging back over to the Forney side of the ball, we're talking about, offensively they just didn't have a whole lot of big plays, and they really kind of did. But it looked like 2 or 3 of those plays where they had a decent long run, it ended up in a turnover, fumbling the football and giving it back. And they were able to give it credit to North Forney. They absolutely allowed no momentum at all to swing in the Jackrabbits' favor. And so, again, like you're saying, if they can keep that up in the second half, so be it. But if not, then you got to make some adjustments with player personnel and maybe give some of these younger guys a chance to get in there, and they're going to want to play hard.
Right. Yeah, and I think from on the Forney side of the ball, Jalen Phillips didn't have early success. He saw them switch Sean Stevens in there. He had a decent run to get started, and then after that, it was just sort of he just got pummeled. And if I'm the Jackrabbits coach and I'm in the locker room right now, I'm thinking to myself, what do we do? Because they open up the playbook and they run a little swing pass. And I think it was Nemo was right there, and he makes the catch, and then he's put down for a 4 or 5 yard loss.
Yeah.
It's just this is probably take away the there have been some miscommunication between Acuna and Zach Tucker and his receivers, and there have been some penalties which we've seen all year long. But take that away, and this has just been an incredibly complete game for North Forney.
Absolutely, and really, I know it sounds like we're kind of dogging on the Jackrabbits. To be honest, 90% of the plays that North Forney has made tonight on the defense side of the ball, Jackrabbit has been there making the block. And North Forney is they have been professionals tonight of getting off the block and making the tackle.
Yeah, and even if that guy isn't able to get off his block, his partner's right behind him, ready to, and so as soon as that ball carrier makes a cut, he's cutting right into the teeth of the defense, and it's like a blue wave that's just pushing him back.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very disciplined on the defensive side of the ball. I want to take a look at maybe some of these other scores across our district and see what you think. So, obviously, we know that coming in, Ennis, Corsicana, North Forney, they were all, depending on who you talk to, who was going to win the district, who was going to finish. It's kind of anybody's race before the season if you depending on who you listen to. And so we know that all of these teams have won all of their games leading up into. And so tonight, at halftime, Ennis is up 28-0 over Kaufman. Now we know from last 2 weeks, the Kaufman is not nothing of what they have been the last couple of years. They've, for whatever reason, they're just lost a lot of talent on both sides of the ball.
Absolutely.
But in Kaufman, 28-0 at halftime. That's nothing to shake your head at. And then Corsicana is up over Greenville 14-7 at halftime. A little closer game, but what do you think about? We got Ennis next week. I don't want to push too far past this game, but let's be real, it's 43-0. What do you think about Ennis next week?
Yeah, and I haven't seen a whole lot on Ennis, but just historically, they've just been a power. And I think that, that's really going to be the first real test for us. And I think it's going to be a good game. It's going to come down, I think, in that who's disciplined and who's physical. Doesn't surprise me that they're up big. But I think that's going to be the first real good test for this North Forney Falcons team. And you mentioned kind of Corsicana, Ennis, North Forney, kind of all in the mix for the top 3 spots. I think it's almost, if people were looking at it based on last year, they probably look at Ennis and Corsicana as the top 2, and you can interchange them, and then almost by default, based on the district that we're in, okay, I don't see anybody that really can challenge other than those two can challenge North Forney. I think they're putting the district on notice with the first 3 games. I mean, they're averaging 50.5 points in their first 2 games. Well, they're 7 points away from it in the first half. So, and they've given up 31 points, 18 of those in the first week against Frisco Heritage in the fourth quarter when the game was out of hand. This is a really, really complete team.
Yeah, I think, again, moving forward, we were talking kind of off air that it's almost a bad thing that the first 3 weeks have turned out the way they have. They haven't really been punched in the mouth yet. They haven't really had to face a whole lot of adversity other than maybe self-inflicted, adversity.
That's true, but you can still work on a lot of things. I think if you ask Coach Jackson, I think he would be pleased with the way that his offensive and defensive lines are playing. He would be pleased with the way the defense is swarming. He'll be pleased with the way that his running backs are hitting those holes and dragging defenders with them, and how Acuna and now Tucker are able to complete those passes. But I think that he would be disappointed with the lack of discipline. And talent-wise, I think we can play with anybody. It's who's going to make the mistakes that cost their team, and I think that's going to be the real focus.
Yeah, well, I think obviously the team feeds off of Coach Jackson and the way that he approaches the second half and the way that he approached the first half. And Ayana was telling me when she came up here to deliver the coach's interview there at halftime, she was saying she got down to the field and she kind of was there where she was supposed to be, and Coach Jackson looked at her, and, man, he had his headset in his hand, and he was hollering and maybe saying some things, you can't say on air. He was fired up about some of the things that, they were doing. He was trying to keep that edge, if you will. And he said he looked right at Ian and it was like, don't you ask me any hard questions, And so I love that Coach Jackson, even though you're up 43-0, he understands this is the beginning. This is the tip of the iceberg, that if we got to keep this attitude and not, like he said, get 5% better this week than what you were last week, And it's going to be hard to find a lot of, bad things, but you can always grow.
Absolutely. And I think that from a coach's perspective, heck, from a parent's perspective, it's been a rough 7 years as we've played this game. And, Wally mentioned something that it feels personal, and honestly, it is. The two sides, people are friends with each other on both sides.
Yeah.
But when it comes to high school football, let's be honest, they don't like each other.
Sure.
I was talking to somebody today who has a kid, and I can't remember if he still plays or not, but she said, "You're probably the only person from the north side I will talk to today." I mean, it gets ugly, and so it is personal, and I think that, this is an opportunity for North Forney to really make a statement. These games have always been competitive.
Sure.
This one is not.
Yeah. They call it the Unity Bowl. I think that's a shot at trying to bring some semblance to an, obviously it's a rivalry game. It's the biggest game of the year, obviously outside of a playoff game. And we were talking before the half even ended that we're growing up. We were always rooting Jackrabbits. We bled black and gold, and so it's taken we've bought in. We're up here high-fiving, these Falcon plays. But, I think it's taken time for a community almost to kind of make that even, if you will, even though it's been an uphill battle.
Well, and you got to think about it. The people on the south side of town, they've been here forever,
sure,
right? And they've got, there are probably kids playing for Forney this week whose dad and maybe their granddad played for Forney years ago. There's no such thing on the north side. We've got a lot of people that have moved in from out of town, out of state. There isn't the tradition, but boy, there is some tradition that is being built around Goonville and around, just the hard-nosed, never give up, give 100%, work together, build that community that I think will serve them very well. And years down the road, we'll look back and think, gosh, I can't imagine what it used to be like.
Exactly. And I think Coach Jackson has really taken that responsibility and he's imparted that into his players. Like, hey, look, you have a chance to write your name down in history, as to be that generation that built that. Absolutely. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, and he's done a lot of really good things in terms of even, when you think about the Breakfast with Champions on Friday morning where, the Goon Dads, the mentors for these players get together and they share time with them and they share their lives with them and really, it's building a culture that I don't know if that exists on the south side of town, but it absolutely exists on the north side, and I think that is really what's going to drive the change and really build a community around this school and around this team.
Absolutely. Well, Tim, I really enjoy getting to sit down. We don't hardly get to do this between me and you, and so I think we'll get better at it as we go throughout the season, and it's been awesome talking with you. It looks like the players are starting to maybe appear from the tunnel. I know that looks like they're getting to stretch out, and so we'll take a step away here, and then we'll be back and get ready for the second half and maybe hear from Coach Jackson and some of these goofy questions that I asked him.
Sticky Ribs Barbecue is a family-owned business located in Forney, Texas. We have all of your favorite smoked meats complemented with homemade sides. Take a bite of our mouth-watering barbecue, slow smoked to perfection over Texas post oak on traditional barbecue pits. We offer full-service catering for any size event. Visit us at stickyribsbarbecue.com or on our Facebook page. That's Sticky with no C and Ribs with a Z. Contact us today and see what you've been missing. Sticky Ribs Barbecue. Get addicted. Your go-to for barbecue.
Hey Falcons fans, are you looking for a local streamlined real estate experience? I'm John Finkenbeiner with Exalt Realty, and in my 12 years in real estate, I have perfected the art of keeping the process of buying and selling simple and easy. Whether it's a buyer's or a seller's market or somewhere in between, make sure you call me, John Finkenbeiner, where real estate is made easy at 469-556-8392. Go Falcons!
Our hometown Taco Casa is proud to support the outstanding programs of North Forney High School, the amazing staff, and great students. Taco Casa, still the same since 1972. Real fresh, real food, real good.
Your next new car is waiting for you at Musser's Chevrolet in Terrell. Musser's has been in business since 1962, making great deals on new and pre-owned cars and trucks. They also offer top-of-the-line automotive service by trained technicians with the most current diagnostic and repair equipment available. And they'll even offer you a free loan car while your GM car is serviced. Visit Musser Chevrolet today for your new Chevrolet or quality pre-owned vehicle. Musser Chevrolet is at 1212 Westmore Avenue in Terrell.
You're listening to North Forney Falcons football on the Goonville Radio Network.
All right. The bands and the drill teams have officially made their way off the field. The Falcons have gathered inside their tunnel and they're ready to emerge here to kick off the third quarter here. The Falcons leading again 43-0. I repeat, 43-0 here as we begin the third quarter. Thank you for joining us here tonight, and I know it seems like this would be a perfect time to maybe step away and like, oh, that game's over, but I encourage you to stick it out with us, have some fun with us here. We still got lots of things to talk about, lots of things to witness here in the second half. I know we have the mascot race, which Wally is amped to call the mascot race, and we will make sure that whatever we're doing at that moment, we will stop and bring it to you. As the Falcons make their way onto the field, this time they're running out with the North Forney flags, and I want to. Looks like we got our sideline report. Ayana is ready down there on the sideline. Let's go to her and see what she had with Coach Jackson there at halftime.
Thanks, Wally. I'm here with Coach Jackson again. With the defense line dominating both the run game and the passing attacks of the Jackrabbits, what does that do for the team as a whole?
It just makes me feel so satisfied, I guess. I'm not sure is the right word or not, but we knew we were good up front. They're not bad up front. And I feel like we're doing a great job of dominating up front. We got a new quarterback coming in. We're taking care of him. So real proud of where we are on both O and D line.
Okay. And we all know no lead is safe in this rivalry. What is your message to the team at the half to motivate them for the second half?
It'll be every coach in America will say what I'm fixing to go say. It's 0-0. They're playing for pride. They're playing for the city of Forney, and they're gonna give us a good shot this second half. The first 4 minutes of the second half is important. If they go score on their first drive, then they're going to think, they're going to start getting that momentum, and I don't want to be in a dogfight.
Okay. Thank you, Coach Jackson. Back to you, Wally.
All right, thank you, Ayana. A couple things to take away there. And he knows that, as you so eloquently put, no lead is safe in this rivalry series. I mean, 2 touchdowns. It's a little bit bigger than a 2-touchdown lead, and I think this lead probably is safe. I mean, I'll go ahead and step out on that really thin limb and say that a 43-0 halftime. If they lose that, then that's nothing on me. That's their own fault.
It was 21-0 when I wrote the question.
McMurrin takes the return from the 5-yard line out across the 30, and they will spot him down at the 33. 43-0 Falcons on top as we get ready to start the third quarter. And, of course, at the end of the third quarter, as James already kind of mentioned, we will have the mascot race. And, boy, that might be my favorite part of the Unity Bowl, to be honest.
Well, for me, my favorite part is you calling it.
I enjoy it. It's one of my favorite things. So Jackrabbits will start out 1st and 10 from their own 32-yard line. Anderson takes a snap, fakes the pitch. They're going to bring on the end around. All over it was Nemo. Akanimo Asukwo in the back. He did not fall. They faked where they were going to pitch it out, and then they gave it to the receiver coming back the other way across the formation. Nemo read it and was all over it.
Well, he would have had it either way. If he'd have kept it, if he'd have handed off, he had it either way. He was in the backfield completely untouched. And I think he was probably the guy they were supposed to read to make the decision, and he just blew it up.
A loss of 6 on the play, and we've been saying that all night. I will be very curious to go back and see how many tackles for loss this Falcons defense has had. Handoff up the middle, it's Phillips, and Phillips gets tackled there again by Nemo after a gain of 5, and that'll make it a 3rd and 11. It's a sticky ribs barbecue, 3rd down, money down.
Yeah, Nemo was able to kind of run down the line of scrimmage and make that tackle before he was able to break through to the next level.
Brings up a 3rd down 10.
That kind of play, Wally, it kind of takes concentration, because your man is kind of flanking out to go deep. You're like, hey, what's going on? And if you're not paying attention, that play can run right by you.
And up the middle, keeping it this time was Anderson.
And that was Nemo again on the bottom of that pile.
Anderson gains about 8 on the play, 7 on the play, and it's going to bring up a 4th and 4. But the Jackrabbits are at their own 38-yard line. But then again, they are trailing 43-0. The only downside of them not getting this first down is they give the Falcons the ball deep in their own territory. Jackrabbits are going to go for it. Anderson takes the snap, hands it off. Phillips trying to spin away from the defender, gets to the 40, does not get the first down, and the Falcons force a turnover on downs again.
Yeah, DeMarcus Kirk and Jeremy Bailey teamed up to make that tackle. Kirk almost lost him. He was able to grab a hold of the jersey just enough to slow him down for Bailey to get there to finish off the tackle. Just another excellent. Forney wanted to come out and give themselves some sort of semblance of hope. And
sorry, go ahead.
No, it just didn't work out.
Well, we haven't mentioned any of the cornerbacks' names really tonight, and there was a reason for that. they haven't been throwing the ball because they have had no time to throw the ball. Shipley in motion. They'll fake it to him, hand it off to Soto up the middle. He gets caught up in a web of Jackrabbit defenders, gains a yard.
I think if you're Forney, you know that North Forney wants to run the ball. They want to run the clock. They want to. So it's going to be a lot harder, probably tougher sledding here in the second half for the Falcon running backs.
Another handoff to Soto. This time he finds a crease up the middle. He gains another 3, and that'll bring up a 3rd down and 6. 9 minutes to play in the third quarter. Falcons leading 43-0. It's been an offensive onslaught for the Falcons. Handoff to Soto. He's trying to get the left edge. There's a flag.
Yeah, it looks like you're going to have holding on Colin Shipley. Probably going to get called for the hold there on the edge.
So they marked him at the 34. This will be an interesting call for the Jackrabbits. Because right now it stands to be a 4th down and 4 for the Falcons. But if they take the holding, it'll back them up 10 yards, but it'll still be 3rd down. Looks like there was no hesitation from the Forney sideline. And they're going to back them up, back out to the 45, so it'll be 3rd and 15 for North Forney's offense. Nick Boo and Colin Shipley, the receivers, split out to the right. And DeJuan Johnson outside the numbers on the near side to the left. Soto still the running back. It's a low snap. They'll fake the handoff. Tucker looking deep down the left sideline. He's got a man, and it's just thrown too far to the middle of the field, intended for DeJuan Johnson. Now it's 4th and 15, and the decision is easy, and that ends up being the right call for the Jackrabbits to take that penalty and back up the Falcons.
Yeah, it looks like Johnson had a step on the outside here on the sideline, and the ball just kind of came out of Tucker's hand, just kind of weird. It was kind of a wobbly ball. Just didn't quite have the oomph to get it to where it needed to be.
Josh Stevens back to return for Forney, standing at his own 12-yard line. And Rodriguez kicks this one away. It's a low bouncer. Bounces at the 15-yard line. Bounces inside the 5. They flip it back in play. Wow, how nicely done. It looked a little iffy there for a moment. It was going to bounce into the end zone.
Yeah, that's looks like Skylar Henry there on the special teams play was able to. He had a chance to almost grab it about the 6 or 7, and then he's like, no, I'm going to see if he can get a little closer. And then it kind of took off on him and made a nice play jumping out of the end or into the end zone without putting his feet down and flipping that ball back.
Nice special teams play there for the Falcons, and that pins the Jackrabbits back inside their own 3-yard line. We've talked a bunch of times tonight. North Forney has started with the ball in really good territory almost all night long. Has had really good field position. Not the same can be said for the Jackrabbits. And a lot of this is their own doing. A couple times they've been pinned back inside their own 15, 10, even 5 on a couple of occasions. And the ball to Phillips. Phillips looking to get the edge. He just does get out of the goal line and make it back to the line of scrimmage. That was Jules Demps.
Almost
had to bring him down at the goal line.
It would have been really close to a safety. Like you're saying, Wally, anytime you're taking a shotgun snap, standing in your own end zone, that tells you the field position battle is being lost on your end.
2nd down and 9 for the Jackrabbits. Under 8 minutes to play in the third quarter. 43-0 Falcons. In the shotgun, they send the receiver in motion out far to the right. Hand it off to Phillips. Phillips spins back inside. Makes it out to the 8-yard line. And it'll bring up a Sticky Ribs barbecue. 3rd down, money down. And it'll be 3rd and 5 for the Jackrabbits.
Yeah, Chandler McGee stepped up and filled the hole there. Good tackle there by the linebacker.
Of course, at the end of the third quarter, I would suspect we had the mascot race. Haven't got official word, but we've had it every year. So
do we have a sighting of where the mascots are?
I see a falcon at the down there at that far end zone. Anderson throws over the middle of the field, and it goes incomplete without touching a receiver or a defender. And that'll bring out the Jackrabbit punt unit.
Yeah, just really no life to speak of here in the Jackrabbit offense. Of course, from the very first play being a turnover, that it's kind of set the tone for the whole game.
I do see a leopard like a mascot of a leopard down in the bleachers, but he's about 3'7". I don't think he's going to be in the race.
Yeah, and I don't know the Leopards are playing tonight. Maybe that's early Halloween. What do you think?
It's a good-looking costume either way.
He's walking like he's headed down towards the field.
So we've got an illegal substitution on the defense, which is North Forney. I think that was Jamarcus Watson, and that's going to end up resulting. It's going to be a first down for Forney after they mark that off. Coach Jackson will not be happy about that.
And there goes the headset.
And that, again, that's a boneheaded penalty. It's one thing if you get a holding or something like that, or pass interference, things that kind of happen in the moment, heat of the moment. But that's just a mistake personnel-wise. So 1st and 10 for the Jackrabbits. Ball at their own 13-yard line.
And in the fourth quarter, Ennis 42, Kaufman 7.
42-7 is what they just announced. Ennis over Kaufman after the end of the third quarter.
It's a stark contrast from last year's game. Handoff to the left side of the line. That'll be Dowell on the carry. We have a couple to bring up. 2nd down and 7 for Forney. 6:50 to play in the third quarter. Anderson in the shotgun. 3 receivers to the left and 1 to the right. Some late movement around the North Forney defensive line. Slipping in the backfield and going down in the grasp of, I believe,
it's like Taven Lee.
Yeah, in that far side defensive end position.
Taven Lee, and then kind of got helped out there by the running back. He kind of stopped his tracks and went backwards and just kind of ran right into Lee. And Lee just wrapped him up and said, "Hey, let me give you a bear hug."
So that's going to bring up 3rd down and 12 after a loss of 4. Actually, that's a loss of 5 on the play. Another negative play for the Jackrabbits. They've got to be approaching near 20 of those tonight. Anderson drops back, looking down the middle of the field, being pressured. Kirk gets him in the backfield and drops him for a sack. DeMarcus Kirk. Anderson flips the ball to the sideline. I'm surprised they didn't blow a whistle on that as he got up and just marched off the field. Man, what a difference in games just a year can make. Last year, Anderson was on top of the world. He had a really good performance in last year's game, and this year, and not a whole lot he can do about it. Well, they've just been dominating.
On that particular play there, I mean, he had time to throw. He doesn't even give himself a chance. I mean, of course, when you're standing at the shadow of your own end zone, it's kind of hard to have patience. I understand that.
And this one's blocked. The punt is blocked. It's in the end zone. Picked up by North Forney. Touchdown, Falcons. I think that was Joel's Unique Dimps with the punt block. And then LaMarcus Kirk just scooped it right up in the end zone. And the Falcons have a special teams touchdown, and they lead 49-0.
As Coach Jason Garrett would say, they're winning all 3 phases of the game handedly.
It has just been, to say it's been all North Forney is just not even giving it the credit that it's due. And you're right, all 3 phases, offensively, defensively, and special teams, has just been all North Forney. The extra point kick is up, and it is good. North Forney leads 50-0 with 5:18 to play in the third quarter. You're listening to the Goonville Radio Network.
Hey Falcons fans, are you looking for a local streamlined real estate experience? I'm John Finkenbeiner with Exalt Realty, and in my 12 years in real estate, I have perfected the art of keeping the process of buying and selling simple and easy. Whether it's a buyer's or a seller's market or somewhere in between, make sure you call me, John Finkenbeiner, where real estate is made easy at 469-556-8392. Go Falcons!
Sticky Ribs Barbecue is a family-owned business located in Forney, Texas. We have all of your favorite smoked meats complemented with homemade sides. Take a bite of our mouth-watering barbecue, slow smoked to perfection over Texas post oak on traditional barbecue pits. We offer full-service catering for any size event. Visit us at stickyribsbarbecue.com or on our Facebook page. That's Sticky with no C and Ribs with a Z. Contact us today and see what you've been missing. Sticky Ribs Barbecue. Get addicted. Your go-to for barbecue. You're listening to North Forney Falcons football on the Goonville Radio Network.
The Falcons put up half 100 here on the Jackrabbits with 5:18 to play in the third quarter. This is a much different looking Unity Bowl from last year. The Falcons led throughout most of last year's Unity Bowl, with a 2-touchdown lead in the fourth quarter. And this kickoff is going to bounce out of bounds. I want to say they're going to say that the Jackrabbits touched it, though.
Yeah, because I don't see a penalty flag, so that's usually what
what did he have? Nope, you're right. No flags.
You never can tell. The first couple of weeks, these officials have really just tricked us a couple times.
Of course, next week's game, man, this is setting up to make next week's game a lot of fun. Of course, a lot of people pick, their popular pick to win the district this year is the Ennis Lions. Last year, they went to Ennis, or Ennis came here and really smoked North Forney 35-7, and that game was never close. Both teams were disappointed in their season last year as a whole. This year, both teams look a lot stronger in their first couple of games. And it looks like we got a different quarterback out there for Forney as well, but the same result.
Jamarcus Watson looks like is in to play defensive line, number 44.
And that looks like Vinny Sulajmanji. Sulajmanji.
No game on the play.
Looks like we definitely have some substitutions in on the defensive front for the Falcons.
We hand it off to Stevens up the middle. Watson in on the tackle there. This time they'll gain 4 on the play, and it'll bring up a Sticky Ribs barbecue. Third down, money down. It'll be 3rd and 6.
Yeah, it looks like Rodolfo Hernandez is also in, number 79 on this close side, and Titus Douglas in to play defensive end on the far side.
Yeah, only a few starters out there for North Forney. You see Donovan Holtz out there, Barksdale, Ethan Monaco at the middle linebacker position, and also Jeremy Bailey. Hand off again to Stevens. Stevens up the middle. Looks like he'll have a Jackrabbit first down as he bulldozes over a North Forney defender. 4 minutes left in the third quarter.
I know these guys don't get to play very much. That was Yundi Hurd in on the tackle that kind of got freight trained there, but is able to hang on and make the tackle at the middle linebacker position. Or linebacker position, number 83.
Sulajmanji in the shotgun. And hand it off to Stevens. Stevens puts his foot in the ground, cuts outside, breaks the tackle, lowers his helmet. And we've got a late flag on the play on the far side of the field.
Yeah, it was number 25, who's not listed here, in on the tackle.
So I just heard the attention for all mascots to report to the end zone. There's a personal foul penalty against North Forney.
This is number 15, which is Colin Shipley.
Yeah, I can promise you Shipley's not out there.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I think they got the wrong number.
So 1st and 10 for Forney. Hand off again up the middle to Stevens, and he'll be brought down from behind.
Taven Lee again on the tackle, come flying down the line there.
A gain of 7, almost 7, about 6. Brings up 2nd down and 4 for the Jackrabbits at the Falcons' 36-yard line.
You know, I was talking to Tim about there at halftime is if the Falcons come out and, you know, they make this lead any bigger, which they have done, it's awful hard to go 100% at that point in time. And so we were saying that's a lot of times when your injuries happen, when you're kind of going 75, 80%. And so if you're going to do that, it's the perfect time to bring in these guys, these hungry young guys that want to step up and get some time here on varsity. You know they're going to give it their 100%.
So gain of just a couple on that run from the Jackrabbits. And it'll end up being 3rd down and a long yard. It's a Sticky Ribs barbecue, 3rd down, money down. So it's Manji in the backfield in the shotgun position. High snap, brings it down, hands it off, and no, he's going to keep it. Gets blasted, doesn't quite make it to the first down marker, just back to the line of scrimmage, and it looks like Solemanji is hurt.
Yeah, Albert Dubose just came around the corner and just
he laid
put
the
a shoulder
hammer.
pad right into the chest of Jumanji.
So that'll bring up 4th down and 1. We got a timeout on the field, so with the timeout, we'll take a timeout. 50-0 North Forney leads. You're listening to North Forney football on the Goonville Radio Network.
Football season is in full swing. Elevate your game day experience with Edible Arrangements. Their fresh, handcrafted fruit is dipped in rich chocolate to create delicious, indulgent party platters. Visit the nearest Edible location in Rockwall or call 972-771-6454. You can also check them out at edible.com. Be sure to mention the code word Goonville on your next order and receive 10% off. Let Edible help you win your next game day before it even starts.
You're listening to North Forney Falcons football on the Goonville Radio Network.
15-0 Falcons leading the Jackrabbits here at the Unity Bowl. And the backup quarterback for the Jackrabbits is down on the field. And that was Vinny Sulejmanji.
Yeah, it looks like this is probably going to be longer than our normal injury timeout. They're bringing equipment onto the field, and looks like they're escorting all the players off of the field. So it looks like we got the four-wheeler with a stretcher coming out. Don't want
It's
to.
never a good sign.
Yeah, you never want to, guess as what it might be, but definitely our thoughts and prayers with.
Well, and after he got hit, he was on the ground. He was moving around. You could tell he was in pain. So
right.
I don't think it's anything, as far as being paralyzed would go. And I'm just speculating. I probably shouldn't. But he was moving around some in pain. I think, to me, that's a good sign that he's able to move around.
So, let's take just a second here as we prepare for the mascot race. And, it's been a very good night all around. I mean, there's some things I know Coach is going to have some material and some things that he could definitely point at and say, hey, his famous quote, let's get 5% better, this week than what we were last week. So he'll have a lot to say to his team this week to get ready for an Ennis squad. But, I think it's important that they're going to Ennis next week, okay? And they really haven't had a challenge thus far in the season. I was telling Tim at halftime, they really haven't been punched in the mouth yet. They really haven't had to face, adversity outside their own, own doing, penalties and turnovers and such. And so what would your message be to the team coming off a major win like you have in the Unity Bowl? How do you ride that into Ennis next week?
Well, I think for me, I would tell the team, hey, let's keep doing what we're doing. We can control what we can control. We execute how we want to execute. We do the things that we do. Yeah, the competition's going to get tougher. Yeah, it's not going to be as easy. But if we continue to play our brand of football and do what we do, we will still be successful. It's not going to be 50-0 successful. I can promise you it ain't going to be 50-0 next week against Ennis. But at the end of the day, you're just wanting to win. It could be 2-0. If that's how you win, you're going to win that way. But I really feel like that's going to be the message, just saying, hey, guys, we're continuing to get better as a team. I think tonight they're taking another step to get better as a team. But really the message to me is simple. It's just that, hey, continue to play our football. We're going to continue to play our football better and better as each week goes along. The competition is going to change from week to week, and we can control what we can control.
Sure, and I know Coach Jackson will tell us every single time, 100 out of 100 times, that he's concentrating on the next play, the next day, the next practice.
Nameless, faceless opponent.
Exactly. I mean, that's his message to us every time we ask. But in the back of his mind, he's thinking, you know what, the next 2 weeks. Looking at Kaufman, that they're not near what they were last year. They're really a shell of what they have been. Looking across this district, really the next 2 weeks set the tone for the rest of the year. You got Ennis and you got Corsicana the next 2 weeks. And if you can, I know if Coach Jackson will be honest with us, he's thinking, if we can just ride this momentum and get past Ennis, then really it's downhill from there as far as the district goes.
Well, and I think you kind of bring up a really good point too. That when I looked at the schedule, especially after the first couple weeks of the year, I thought, man, that's the three. The three. I don't say the three toughest, but that first 3 games of district is going to be. You got the Unity Bowl. And who knows whatever happens with that. Last year, you should have won that game. You were supposed to win that game, and you didn't. And I know I'll say it that it affected this team all year long. And so I think this was the first hurdle. It's maybe a shorter hurdle, but this was the first hurdle. And then you've got the number 1 and number 2 teams in the district after that. And then North Forney has been popularly picked in the 3rd slot behind those 2 teams. And I think if you come away with a 2-1 record after those 3 games, you got to be feeling pretty good. But after this week, they want to win every game, obviously. But if I'm a fan and I'm as a broadcaster, I'm thinking, if we can win those first 2 games, that puts you in position to compete for the district championship by the end of the year.
For sure. Well, and especially because Ennis is on the road. Corsicana got to come here this year. I remember last year that was one of the best games of the year. Just gut-wrenching, moments there at the end of that game in Corsicana, and they're going to have to come here this year. They're going to have to deal with the big blue sea that we see right here, in these home stands. And that makes, in high school and college ball, that home field advantage is a huge thing, And so, again, I think if you – this is just me talking. Of course, we'd never say this to Coach Jackson or make it our motto by any means, but I feel like if you can get through next week with a win, man, it's looking real good. This season's already looking night and day different from what we felt at this time last year.
Well, and of course, Coach is not going to, because he's going to want to keep motivating his team. And that's the worst thing your team could do is get full of itself. And a win next week against Ennis would be hard to keep them from feeling that way. But, it's a long season. Last year had a lot of ups and downs that I don't think a lot of us didn't expect when the season started. And who knows what this season could prove out to, end up being. You hope to get Acuna back, hopefully next week. If not, there's soon after that. You hope to get Donaldson back and, stay healthy. But, man, this next stretch, these next 2 weeks are going to be very telling as to what this season as a whole can end up being for the Falcons. I mean, are they going to be a team that maybe, they get to the playoffs and lose in the first round like a lot of the teams in this district did last year? I think every team lost the first round, if I remember correctly. Or are they going to be a team that makes some noise in the playoffs? Yeah,
you brought up Acuna. We hadn't even really talked about him much in this game here. Obviously, he's not playing tonight, but I think to myself, in the first 2 games, or the first game in the first part of the second game, he was really the cog that made this thing go. And, man, he was really looking sharp. And I'm really excited to see him get back and to know that you do have a capable backup that can perform like he's performed tonight. I mean, that goes a long ways in your confidence as a whole as an offense.
Well, I want to ask Coach if there's a quarterback controversy. I've never got to ask that question. I wonder, I want to be a big-time media guy and ask him. I know there's not. He's not going to say there isn't. There isn't. Acuna's the starter. Tucker's the backup. Tucker's come in and played and done his job like he's supposed to do. And I'll be curious as we're still waiting on the injured Jackrabbit to get up off the field. He's been down for about 15 minutes now. And that was Vinny Solojmanji, the backup quarterback for the Jackrabbits. They brought the stretcher out.
Yeah, it looks like the ambulance is coming around the corner.
That's unfortunate. You never want to see anything like that in any game, especially a game like this. But for North Forney, I think the other thing, too, that you found with Acuna being out is the Wildcat package with LaMarcus Kirk. And I would like to see if they have some wrinkles off of that. Obviously, there's no reason to show it in this game. But, I think Forney's really kind of keyed in when LaMarcus come in there. Hey, he's running the ball, especially when he's the only guy back there. Hey, just attack off the edges, take him in the backfield before he can do anything. I want to see if there's a wrinkle off of that where maybe he fakes the run or, then throws it down the field, or they got something else off of that. But it is a weapon that I haven't seen North Forney ever do a Wildcat, in the couple years now that I've been calling their games. So it's an interesting twist. So when you do get Acuna back and you kind of open up that offense again, that's another weapon that you could always bring in.
Yeah, even if you don't want to throw it down the field, like you were saying, what Forney has learned tonight when he's in the Wildcat, but like you said, they're rushing off the ends and they're bailing their responsibility. There's no contain, and I could very easily see him just draw back and kind of throw that ball in the flat to the receiver, like we've seen, like Forney likes to do. North Forney likes to do. I very easily see that be a wrinkle off of that Wildcat to take them to the next level on that package.
Well, why don't we go ahead and take another step away as we still await this injury timeout here from a down Jackrabbits player. It's 50-0. North Forney leads late in the third quarter. You're listening to North Forney Falcons football here on the Goonville Radio Network.
Sticky Ribs Barbecue is a family-owned business located in Forney, Texas. We have all of your favorite smoked meats complemented with homemade sides. Take a bite of our mouth-watering barbecue, slow smoked to perfection over Texas post oak on traditional barbecue pits. We offer full-service catering for any size event. Visit us at stickyribsbarbecue.com or on our Facebook page. That's Sticky with no C and Ribs with a Z. Contact us today and see what you've been missing. Sticky Ribs Barbecue. Get addicted. Your go-to for barbecue.
Hey Falcons fans, are you looking for a local streamlined real estate experience? I'm John Finkenbeiner with Exalt Realty, and in my 12 years in real estate, I have perfected the art of keeping the process of buying and selling simple and easy. Whether it's a buyer's or a seller's market or somewhere in between, make sure you call me, John Finkenbeiner, where real estate is made easy at 469-556-8392. Go Falcons!
Our hometown Taco Casa is proud to support the outstanding programs of North Forney High School, the amazing staff, and great students. Taco Casa, still the same since 1972. Real fresh, real food, real good.
Your next new car is waiting for you at Musser's Chevrolet in Terrell. Musser's has been in business since 1962, making great deals on new and pre-owned cars and trucks. They also offer top-of-the-line automotive service by trained technicians with the most current diagnostic and repair equipment available. And they'll even offer you a free loan car while your GM car is serviced. Visit Musser Chevrolet today for your new Chevrolet or quality pre-owned vehicle. Musser Chevrolet is at 1212 Westmore Avenue in Terrell.
You're listening to North Forney Falcons football on the Goonville Radio Network.
It's 50-0 with 2:10 remaining in the third quarter. Falcons leading. We've had an injury timeout on the field for about almost 20 minutes now. As the Jackrabbits backup quarterback, Vinny Solajmanji, got injured on the field and is down on the field for quite some time.
Looks like he's sitting up. It's a lower body injury. I think that's him sitting up. I don't want to say that.
No, I think he's laying on the stretcher.
Okay. Yeah, he's waving. He's waving at the crowd. That's good sign for sure.
And you can hear the cheer of both sides, both stands. And, of course, we get caught up in a big rivalry, and whether you're wearing blue or black and gold. And at the end of the day, it's still nobody likes to see things like that. And it's kind of brings everybody back together, at least for a moment or two.
Yeah, this is the Uni Bowl, Andrew. Wally.
This is everybody knows that. I don't think there's not a soul in this town that doesn't know the name of this game.
I feel unity.
You know what, though? Coming up in 2 minutes and 10 seconds, the mascot race.
And they're not very unified. I mean, they're cutthroat. That's what I was thinking.
They are.
They're swindlers.
Ooh, it looks like we've got.
There's a bunch of them.
They're
here. I'm going to call them out here.
Okay.
We got some time while the teams are stretching.
Can you see all the way? Okay, you've got the binoculars.
All right. Looks like we got obviously the rabbit, the jackrabbit. Looks like we got the falcon. We've got the looks like Chick-fil-A cow, wearing a some sort of
hockey jersey. Almost.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what he's wearing. Looks like we got. Is that a big tooth? Is that what that is with his back to us?
Yeah, big tooth.
Yeah, big tooth, maybe for a dentist of some sort. Looks like you got a Spartan kind of.
Yep, there's the Warren Warrior.
Yeah.
I see the little leopard down there.
You got the little cowboy-looking dude with the mustache and the cowboy hat. Yeah, you got the shark. It looks like Baby Shark has made an appearance.
And went back to game action. Handoff up the middle to Phillips. It was 4th and 1. They do get the first down, so the Jackrabbits will move the chains. Campbell Anderson is back out there at quarterback. Of course, the backup quarterback was Solajmanji, who just left the game with an injury. So Anderson back out there. It looks like they've put in a couple of their starters back in there as well. Phillips back in there at running back. I see McMurray out there at receiver. Anderson takes the snap. Drops back. He's looking down the field, and it's going to be completely overthrown. And now we're going to get a late flag on that far side of the field. They're probably going to get him for pass interference, but, man, was that a late – and the ball was so far overthrown.
Could that possibly be intentional grounding? Or I guess that flag would be in the pocket, huh? The ball was 15 yards overthrown.
Well, of course, they could always say that it's holding maybe before the pass was thrown, and if that's the case, the penalty would stand.
Well, they threw the flag.
I thought that was the motion that they said was holding, and that coming up to the official. And that's what they're going to say prior to the pass holding on the defense. That'll be a 10-yard penalty, and we will have another first down for the Jackrabbits. This is the furthest the Jackrabbits have made it into Falcon territory. I'm not sure that they've made it into the red zone of North Forney all night long. They're at the 20-yard line now, so the next play they get in there will be the first. We're under a minute and a half left in the third quarter. Handoff up the middle to Phillips. Phillips looks like he's got the 19-yard line. No, they're going to say the 20. So still not in the red zone as we approach 1 minute to play in the third quarter.
Yeah, Jamarcus Watson able to step up and keep him just shy of the 20-yard line.
Yeah, most of the North Forney's defensive backups are in there. Again, like I said, I do still see Holt and Bailey among a few others. Hand it off to Stevens, a missed tackle on the far side. And they get it down to the 15-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd and 5. It's a third down, money down, brought to you by Sticky Ribs Barbecue. It's the first trip inside the Falcons red zone tonight for the Jackrabbits, coming with about 47 seconds left in the third quarter.
Really no hurry necessarily by the Jackrabbits. I think they have pretty much resigned themselves. We're going to run the ball and kind of get out of here as well. Again, the play clock down to 15.
Take the handoff. They throw it over the middle. It's caught complete. Lunging for the goal line. And the Jackrabbits score. And that pass was complete to Josh Stevens.
Well, we kind of saw this a little bit in week one. You know, you got your backups in there, and you're going to give up some yards. They gave up 17 points there in that first game in the fourth quarter. You're probably going to see some of that here tonight. That's just what you get whenever you have their ones and going against your backups. The play clock down to about 3, 2, 1. Just barely got it off.
Snap. But the kick is up, and it's good. So it's 50-7. North Forney leading with 15 seconds to play in the third quarter. You're listening to North Forney Falcons football on the Goonville Radio Network.
Your new Cadillac is as close as Musser Cadillac in Terrell. Musser's has been making great deals on new and pre-owned cars and trucks since 1962. And you're sure to get a great deal on a new Cadillac when you visit Musser's in Terrell. They also offer top-of-the-line automotive service by trained technicians with the most current diagnostic and repair equipment available. And they'll even offer you a free loan car while your GM car is serviced. Visit Musser Cadillac today for your new Cadillac or quality pre-owned vehicle. Musser's is at 1212 Westmore Avenue in Terrell.
Our hometown Taco Casa is proud to support the outstanding programs of North Forney High School, the amazing staff, and great students. Taco Casa, right here in Forney, Texas, feeding hungry folks since 2010. Real fresh, real food, real good.
You're listening to North Forney Falcons football on the Goonville Radio Network.
Jackrabbits set to kick off. It's going to be a short pooch kick. It's going to be called for a fair catch by Nick Boo. He will corral it in at the 42-yard line.
So do you think we're going to see maybe some backup quarterback running back here?
Well, I mean, we might see some Logan Williams. Actually, we're going to get Zach Tucker back out there again.
Maybe coach saying, you are the backup, son.
Yeah. I'm not sure what number Logan Williams is either. He's not on the roster, so don't even reach for it. Actually, it's LaMarcus Kirk in the Wildcat. He'll take it around the left side. He's got some room to run. Gets knocked out of bounds at about the 45. A gain of 8 on the play. That'll bring up second down and 2 for the Falcons. So the Falcons have their starters out there offensively. Of course, the Jackrabbits had put their backups in offensively. And then the injury to the backup quarterback brought out the starters for whatever reason. Kirk fighting away from a couple of Jackrabbits in the backfield. And that's enough to get the first down. He was wrapped up in the backfield for about a loss of a yard. He was able to fight away from that to gain 3. It's out to the 49, and it'll be a first down for North Forney. And that'll bring us to the end of the third quarter, but don't go anywhere. We're going to stay right here.
So we'll catch you after this break.
No break.
No break.
We are ready for the mascot race. All right, starting from left to right, we've got the North Forney Falcon, the Forney Jackrabbit, who looks a lot like a bee, really.
He does look very bee-ish.
Then we've got Whataburger Man. We've got
Snoopy or the Fire Dog, whatever his name is.
Oh, is that a dog or a donkey?
No, it's a dog.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Then a toothbrush carrying little boy.
We got the toothbrush boy with the tooth. That's weird.
Yeah. A couple of bears.
We got a couple of bears. Then
the cowboy-ish looking dude.
Then we've got a Warren Warrior.
Yep.
We've got, it looks like another Falcon on the far side. The Chick-fil-A cow, Baby Shark.
Okay, that's a hawk. It's got an H on his front of his jersey, so it's a hawk. I'm rooting for Baby Shark. Who do you got in this matchup?
You know what? The way this game's gone, I'm going to go with the Falcon.
The blue Falcon.
This night's going to be all North Forney.
I'm going to say the cow. I'm going to say Chick-fil-A cow.
All right. They're going to race, I believe, to the 100-yard line, and they're off. The Falcons off to an early lead. But the Warren Warriors close on his heels. The Warren Warrior takes over at the 50, the 40. He's only got to beat the Falcon, the 25, the 20, the 10, the 5, and the Warrior finishes in first. The Falcon in second, and the Chick-fil-A cow just beating out the Tooth for third place. Bringing up the rears, the Whataburger Man, and then the dog stops at the midfield and does a dance.
I'd say he's got some moves. All the Jackrabbit players are back on the field, and he's like, hey, bud, I need you to skedaddle. I don't think the Whataburger Man has made it yet.
He's had too many fries. Whataburger does something. I might have to go to Whataburger after this. It's probably pretty crowded, though, isn't it?
Probably so.
Well, that was fun. It's been a fun night. Falcons first and 10 from their own 49-yard line. Well, Marcus Kirk still in as the Wildcat quarterback. He's got Zach Tucker, the normal quarterback, as a receiver out to the right, along with Colin Shipley and Ty Collins. Kirk takes the snap, and he will run it right up the middle. Breaking away from one tackle, gets brought down by the next defender, but not before a gain of 6. That'll bring up second down and 4.
You had Atramus. I don't know how you say Atramus Talley was there to lead the way in a lead block.
Able to snap to Kirk. Kirk just started up the middle, now breaks out to the right. Had a hole. I thought he was going to shoot through it for a touchdown, but just before he could start through the other side, he gets brought down. But that's a big first down run. All the way down to the Jackrabbit 30-yard line. And that was Gavin West on the tackle for Forney. They'll stay in the Wildcat. Kirk will run it again, looking for a hole. This time he gets brought down for a loss of a yard.
Who's number 13 for Forney?
That's DeJuan Johnson.
DeJuan Johnson? For
Forney.
Yeah.
Forney. That is Dow.
He's a player, man. I've been watching him the last couple of series. He's a real athlete. He's been making lots of tackles.
That is Dalbert Zingzangon.
Well, he's a player. I'll tell you that.
But don't quote me on that. And definitely don't Snapchat me on that. Tucker back at quarterback now. He'll turn and hand it off to Collins. Collins spinning away from defender, gets hit from behind, but he stays on his feet, still going, pulling Jackrabbit defenders with him. all the way down to the 20-yard line. That's near a first down marker. Let me see, about a foot short, looks like. Man, I thought he was down about 7 yards ago.
He really took a hit at about the 4-yard mark. Was able to kind of spin off of it and catch another 3 or 4.
3rd down and 1. Hand it off to Collins. He's met in the backfield, falls ahead. He'll be a yard short, though. This time he actually lost half a yard. And it's going to be a long 4th and 1. And earlier in the games this year, this has been a moment for Coach Jackson to bring out the field goal unit and kind of test the leg of Carlos Rodriguez. This being the Unity Bowl, I'm not sure he's going to want to settle for just field, even being up big. You might as well keep the foot on the pedal and eat up some more clock, I think is really their main goal. There's under 9:50 to play in the 4th quarter. Jackrabbits facing really a 4th and 2 here. Tucker gets it. He's going to throw a fade up to Cam Allen inside the 5. He grabs it. He gets knocked out of bounds. He does bring in the catch for a first down. They're going to say he's out at the 5.
Just a tremendous play call. Obviously, every single person here, obviously going off what you just said, run the clock out. Let's get a first down. Only need 2 yards, and I think everybody thought that. And because of that, really caught the corner off guard there. He was wide open.
Let's see if they throw another fade to Cam Allen again. Nope, they're going to turn and hand it off to Collins. Collins up the middle, backwards, falls into the end zone, backpedaling, and it's another rushing touchdown for the Falcons.
Just all night long, they've had their way with the running game. The only bad news here is just prolongs the game a little longer, stopping the clock. But the good news is it's another Falcon touchdown.
The extra point kick is up and good, and we've got a flag at the end of the play. So we'll wait and see if they have to redo this one, or if it'll be enforced on the kickoff. And it looks like they'll just, whatever it is, they'll either decline it or force it on the kickoff. So the Jackrabbits leading 57-7 in the 4th quarter. We'll get right back here on the Goonville Radio Network.
Hey Falcons fans, are you looking for a local streamlined real estate experience? I'm John O'Finkenbeiner with Exalt Realty, and in my 12 years in real estate, I have perfected the art of keeping the process of buying and selling simple and easy. Whether it's a buyer's or a seller's market or somewhere in between, make sure you call me, John O'Finkenbeiner, where real estate is made easy at 469-556-8392. Go Falcons!
Sticky Ribs Barbecue is a family-owned business located in Forney, Texas. We have all of your favorite smoked meats complemented with homemade sides. Take a bite of our mouth-watering barbecue, slow smoked to perfection over Texas post oak on traditional barbecue pits. We offer full-service catering for any size event. Visit us at stickyribsbarbecue.com or on our Facebook page. That's Sticky with no C and Ribs with a Z. Contact us today and see what you've been missing. Sticky Ribs Barbecue. Get addicted. Your go-to for barbecue. You're listening to North Forney Falcons football on the Goonville Radio Network.
Right as the North Forney Falcon logo flashes there on the big screen, the home stands getting into it tonight. I'd say it's still a pretty well packed parking lot out there. It's starting to make its way empty, but
and I'll give it to the Forney fans too, though. They, for the most part, they've stuck around pretty good.
Yeah, and even when they scored that touchdown there a while ago, their fans are really getting into it. This is more than just a football game.
And it looked like the penalty was against Forney. The Falcons will be kicking off from the Jackrabbit 45-yard line. See if they try maybe a pooch kick or something.
Yeah, seeing how you're already. Looks like we're gonna have a timeout.
Yeah. Well, let's take a timeout too, then, real quick.
Take 30 seconds?
Yeah, let's take a 30-second.
Let's do it.
On the Goonville Radio Network.
Football season is in full swing. Elevate your game day experience with Edible Arrangements. Their fresh, handcrafted fruit is dipped in rich chocolate to create delicious, indulgent party platters. Visit the nearest Edible location in Rockwall or call 972-771-6454. You can also check them out at edible.com. Be sure to mention the code word Goonville on your next order and receive 10% off. Let Edible help you win your next game day before it even starts.
You're listening to North Forney Falcons football on the Goonville Radio Network.
All right, back here at Citibank Stadium, looks like Carlos Rodriguez and the Falcons are ready to kick it off for real this time as the North Forney Falcons kick it off from the Forney 45-yard line. Let's see what they have drawn up here. It looks like he's going to kick it deep all the way out of the back of the end zone, just barely catches the top of the R in Jackrabbits as it bounces out of the back of the end zone. So, Wally, what do you expect from Forney? I mean, what can you do? I mean, 57-0.
Well, I would imagine that now they're forced to play their starting quarterback again. The only problem is when you bring in your starting quarterback is if you don't bring in the rest of the starters, you kind of put him out there with the backups. Now North Forney is probably going to play most of their backups as well. So you're kind of matching second team to second team. And it does look like Forney is going to bring out most of their second unit, but Anderson is still back out there at quarterback. I would imagine they're going to want to get out of here, too. They're going to run the ball quite a bit.
You got Anderson in the shotgun running back to his left as he takes the snap, hands it off up the middle, and met for about a 1 to 2 yard loss there. Is number 30. It's going to be Tayton Aldridge, sophomore running back there for the Jackrabbits. And again, they're not in a hurry. Looks like they're set to just run this game out as there's down to just under 9 minutes to play here in the ball game.
Yeah, when you get to 57-7, typically both teams are about ready to get out of here. You know.
Anderson takes the handoff again, hands it off to breaks out the left side. He's got some room to run this time and gets it down across the 40, about the 43.5-yard line, looks like. That'll be enough for a first down for the Jackrabbits. Obviously, we've been able to say that a little more here in the end of the third and here in the fourth quarter.
That was a pretty nasty stiff arm he gave him. I think it was Jeremy Bailey, too, along this near side.
Yeah, and he's about
5 or 6 extra yards.
Yeah, he's no backup either. Anderson in the shotgun again, receives the handoff again, the exact same play. This time he's met in the backfield, was able to break the tackle, but just skirted out enough to get about a yard to bring up second down and 9.
It's only been a couple of runs here, but I like what I see from Aldridge. He's a tough runner. He will make you feel your tackle.
Yeah, North Forney hasn't missed many tackles, especially in the backfield tonight, and he was met immediately, was able to escape. This time he lines up on the left side of Anderson. Anderson again in the shotgun. This time he hands it off and is going to take it around the right side as Aldridge. He kind of cuts it back up the middle, able to pick up about 4 yards.
Well, that was a high snap, too, that Anderson just was able to bring in and get it to.
Yeah, and it seems Aldridge. Like he's kind of had that a bunch tonight, a bunch of times where he said high snap. That's going to bring up third down and a long 4 for the Jackrabbits. This time Aldridge lined up on the right side of the shotgun formation. As Anderson receives the snap and hands it off. And this time that is not Aldridge. That is number Phillips. 14, Phillips, and he's running hard and a pretty sizable gain there. He's going to bring it all the way down to the Falcon 48-yard line. A big first down there for the Jackers, but the clock is running, Wally. And we are down to just over 7 minutes here left in the game. Again, the Jackrabbits looking to the sideline, waiting for the play call. Again, it's about 10 seconds left in the play clock. As Anderson receives this time he fumbles the handoff, and he did not get on top of it. That is Falcon football. Looks like number 79 for the Falcons on the fumble recovery.
That's Rodolfo Hernandez.
It looks like Anderson kind of had the ball, but it was kind of under his feet. And
well, again, it was a high snap, and this one he didn't actually catch. It was high, and it bounced off his hands. He went to go pick it up, and then, like you said, he never could get control of it. He tried to go down on his hands and knees, and then it got in between his knees, and that's when Hernandez said, well, hey, I'll take it.
Absolutely. So now the ball will be handed right back over to the Falcons at their own 43-yard line.
And they still got their starters in offensively.
Yeah, you got Soto into the left of Tucker. Tucker's going to hand the ball to Soto. He's going to come right and up towards the middle and just plow over number 20 for the Jackrabbits, I mean, he just absolutely leveled him. He got way more than what he bargained for. Good heart. That is something good to see. Soto, starting running back here in a 57-0 game, towards the end of the fourth quarter, is still running with purpose.
Well, if you know anything about Soto, you know that's going to be the case. That's probably the hardest, toughest player there is out there. Now we're going to get Tristan Johnson to come in and play running back in the backfield.
Tucker takes a low snap. I think his knee was almost on the ground. Either way, it's like going to barely make it back to the line of scrimmage. That's going to bring up a third down and about 6.
Man, I think that might be Logan Williams now that we're going to get at quarterback.
Number 23.
23.
Yeah. Yeah, number 30. Who's number 36, Wally? Do we have that listed?
That's Tristan Johnson.
Tristan Johnson, okay.
He came in a little bit at the end of the Wiley East game and ran hard. He's a reserve running back. He probably won't see the field much except for, in big blowouts. But when he's in there, he runs hard. Play some linebacker on the other end.
He's going to get the ball running left, and, boy, he was met by about 3 Jackrabbits right at the line of scrimmage and kind of slung back around, and they're going to end up losing a yard or so on that one, bringing up 4th down and 7.
Yeah, with under 5.5 minutes to play in the game, both these teams are doing everything they can to run the clock out now.
Yeah, the clock is slowly clicking. We're down to 5 minutes and 15 seconds left in the fourth quarter. The Falcons are going to punt it away. I think Coach was telling them, hey, look, when that clock is down to, about 5 seconds or so, I think is what he's probably saying, then kick it. And looks like we're going to have a timeout actually taken by the Falcons. And again, Coach is not happy. So at this point in time, we'll take a step away and come back and see about finishing up this game. 57-0 here on the Goonville Radio Network.
Football season is in full swing. Elevate your game day experience with Edible Arrangements. Their fresh, handcrafted fruit is dipped in rich chocolate to create delicious, indulgent party platters. Visit the nearest Edible location in Rockwall or call 972-771-6454. You can also check them out at edible.com. Be sure to mention the code word Goonville on your next order and receive 10% off. Let Edible help you win your next game day before it even starts.
You're listening to North Forney Falcons football on the Goonville Radio Network.
And we're back as the Falcons just get it kicked away when the penalty flags come in and say, not yet. We're gonna talk this over.
You see Coach Jackson on the sideline. This is going to be a fun coaches show this coming up on Tuesday when I sit down with him in his office. You can hear him from all the way up here yelling. And for good reason. You had to take a timeout because you didn't have the right personnel out there for the punt team. So after the timeout, then you can't get the playoff in time, and then you get a penalty for that. And the penalties have been a big issue for North Forney. And yeah, it ain't going to matter too much against Forney or other teams they've played, but it's going to matter against Ennis, and it's going to matter against Corsicana and Sulphur Springs, and the teams later on down the road, and hopefully playoffs. This is penalties is the thing that Coach is going to be most upset about, and rightfully so. That they're going to have to clean up.
Yeah, and he understands that. Obviously, he's making that perfectly clear. And a high snap over the punter's head, and it's a race for the ball, and Falcons were able to get on top of it. That's going to give the Jackrabbits the ball at the North Forney about 11 or 12-yard line. The coach cannot. I would hate to be the special teams guy in the locker room here tonight.
That's adding injury to insult there.
Well, either way, the Jackrabbits will take over. Looks like they're going to mark it officially at about the 13-yard line of the Falcons. So excellent field position here for the Jackrabbits. So we can see what they can come away with.
Of course, Anderson's still the quarterback because of the injury to the backup.
It's like Aaron Mount is the running back as he takes it to the right.
I think that's Josh Stevens.
Yep, you're right. That is Josh Stevens. 16, not 18. You know, I was listening to the Cowboy game on the radio this last week on the way to work, and I tell you, Brad Jim was having a hard time with the numbers. It was probably in the 10 minutes that I was listening, it was, oh, that's 18, not 19. Oh, that's 19, not 16.
Well, I mean, if the Cowboys need a new play-by-play radio guy,
You're the guy?
I'll give them a listen.
I don't know that Brad Jim is, a Hall of Famer or anything. Only been doing it
even
for
Hall of
40-plus
Famers
years.
have to call it quits at some point.
Anderson takes the snap and he fakes the handoff and he throws it down the right sideline and just overthrows the receiver in the end zone. And, of course, that will stop the clock with an incomplete pass with just over 4 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and even though a touchdown here obviously means pretty much nothing as far as scoreboard or anything like that, you want something to feel good. You want something to kind of end on. And that's why they're taking shots at the end zone.
Anderson with a shotgun snap. This time he just throws it over the middle, intended for, looks like, Braden Kirkland.
That's Bailey in good coverage, too. Bailey's still one of the starters out there. The secondary's got him and Barksdale still out there. And Bailey's one of the better probably coverage secondaries. I mean, we've got so many of them. He's a really good coverage safety.
Looks like the Jackrabbits are going to kick the field goal here, or at least line up as if to kick the field goal.
I'd imagine they're not going to run a fake with the 4th and 11.
It's like Colby Ortega in to attempt the field goal. And the ball is kicked through the uprights for 3 points. That's going to bring the score 57-10. Make sure I got that right. 57-10. North Forney over the Jackrabbits. So we'll take a step away here, as we don't take a step away here, because there's 3 minutes and 57 seconds left here in the fourth quarter.
And you look at Coach Jackson down there at the 50-yard line. Look at him. Look at that scowl. The hands on his hips, just scowling at his players.
Head shaking.
I think only Coach Jackson could have that kind of scowl being up 57-10.
He's pointing. He said, I want you to line up right here. I'm not kind of reading his lips. I got the binoculars on him right now.
Well, that's been a problem, a couple of times, not special teams wise. They haven't had enough guys out there on the field. And so that's what he's getting on. He said, guys, we have there's a big banner on the field that has the numbers on the thing. Like, you go stand on the numbers.
Yeah. So, okay, I see what that is. That's the launching pad for the special teams guys, I guess, to make sure there's 11 of them.
Yep.
Ortega gets ready to kick this one away. He's going to onside it up the middle. The Falcons were able to dive on top of it just before the Jackrabbit players were able to get there.
It was Taven Lee that was able to come back and jump on top of it.
He dove a good 3 or 4 yards to jump on top of that one.
Man, it's gonna be a lot of fun next week as we travel. Do they call it the Lions Den? It'd be cool if they did. Can we call it that?
Oh, Wally, I believe we can do whatever we want.
Okay, well then we're gonna head down to the Lions Den next week.
Okay.
Falcons head down on the Lions Den. That didn't go as well as I thought it would. I was trying to make that into like the devil go down to Georgia.
The Goonville is going to a la David. Wait, no. Who was in the line? Daniel in the Lions Den. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to all my Sunday school teachers. The handoff up the middle.
It's Tristan Johnson to get on the handoff, the carry. It looks like Logan Williams in at quarterback.
Yeah.
Looks like Logan's added some weight too, like pretty good weight, like thick.
Yeah, he's
looks a lot like Colby kind of did when Colby was here.
Maybe not quite as tall. Colby was pretty darn tall.
Logan's pretty tall. Logan's about 6'2". I think Colby was about 6'2", 6'3". Colby just had, it was a little bit more chiseled out than I think Williams is. Williams got a strong arm. We saw it quite a few times in baseball last year playing an outfielder.
Well, he's got the shotgun snap. Again, it's a low snap. This time he hands it off to Tristan. And he's able to get about maybe 3 yards. That's going to bring up a third down and about 6.
We're under 3 minutes now to play, too.
Well, you can see the clock ticking away. Obviously, we don't want any more injuries or anything like that to happen here in the last going.
Now Coach Jackson's so upset about all the penalties and the miscues and stuff that he's down there talking to the Booster Club guys, the guys that set up the inflatable stuff. I see Tim down there.
Yeah, he's saying, I need you guys to be on top of your game when you're doing this.
That's Tristan Johnson again.
Tristan Johnson had a little bit of room to run on the outside, on the left side, but it is going to bring up fourth down in about fourth down and 3. And they are going to punt this one away. But the clock is still ticking, and we are down to, we don't have a 2-minute warning here in high school football. So we're going to keep on ticking right past the 2-minute mark.
And it looks like we're going to get a timeout now from Forney's side. We can take a timeout now. On the Goonville Radio Network.
And here we go.
Football season is in full swing. Elevate your game day experience with edible arrangements. Their fresh, handcrafted fruit is dipped in rich chocolate to create delicious, indulgent party platters. Visit the nearest edible location in Rockwall or call 972-771-6454. You can also check them out at edible.com. Be sure to mention the code word Goonville on your next order and receive 10% off. Let Edible help you win your next game day before it even starts.
You're listening to North Forney Falcons football on the Goonville Radio Network.
And the Falcons will punt this one away after the Jackrabbit timeout. Rodriguez to punt for the Falcons. A minute 50 left in the game. End over in punt. Fielded inside the 25, out to the 35. And the Jackrabbits will take over with a minute 41 left. I would imagine they're pretty content to run a few plays and get out of this nightmare for them. A nightmare for the Jackrabbits, a sweet, sweet dream for the Falcons.
I'd give that a 6 out of 10.
This late in the night, that's not bad. Once again, next week's game will be at Ennis.
Do we know who Forney takes on next week?
That I do not know. Of course, the next couple of games for North Forney, Ennis, Corsicana, and I believe Greenville after that. Deep throw down the right sideline, and that goes incomplete over the receiver's head, so we will stop the clock. That's fun.
I need to get Coach Wood.
Woods?
Yeah, Coach Woods. Get his cell phone number real quick and be like, hey, Coach.
Everybody wants out of here. Well, it's been a fun night for the Falcons and Falcon faithful. And the handoff goes for a gain of 4. Stevens on the carry. Under a minute and a half left. It'll be third down for the Jackrabbits. Of course, the kickoff next week, 7:30, 7:10 pregame right here back on YouTube on SHN Sports. And you can catch the Coaches Show. You can look for that every Wednesday morning on the Quarterback Club Facebook page. Stevens with another carry around the right side. Breaks a tackle, and he's got a first down. So that'll momentarily stop the clock, but that should basically seal. We won't have to punt the ball again, as we are now under 1 minute left. Falcons leading 57-10. They scored fast. They scored furiously. And they scored all the way through this game in a variety of ways. Steve Anderson drops back, throws out into the flat. It's caught by Kirkland. He's going to get tackled inbounds.
There you go. I like it when they wave their arm as to say, keep the clock rolling. You know, Wally, I remember the year was 2003, right here in this very stadium.
It wouldn't have been this stadium. It wasn't open in 2003.
It was open in 2003.
Really?
Because that was my senior year, and it was the first year that this stadium was open. I got to play here when they still had natural grass at the time. it was not a fun game. As Forney back then was perennial deep playoff team.
I believe that was the last year that we were 3A, that Forney was 3A, but I believe, too. I think the next year they went on to be 4A.
Caleb Haney.
Well, you hear the horn, and that is the final buzzer. The ice bath, Coach Jackson, and it's Uni Bowl revenge for the Falcons. The final score is 57-7. James, we won't even have a post-game show. Or we will, but we won't go to break or anything. Let's just jump right into it. I mean, it was impressive from the Falcons. Tucker got the start at quarterback tonight for the injured Acuna. Didn't have to do a whole lot. Wasn't asked to do a whole lot. The few things that he did have to do, he did it well. Had a couple of nice throws, a couple of touchdown throws. First one to Johnson started the scoring off. But really, again, it was the run game with Soto, with Collins, with Kirk. Those guys just kind of drove the engine. But, man, that defense was phenomenal tonight.
I don't know that you could ask a defense to play any better in a varsity, high school football game. At any level. And so the way they played tonight, that really gives you hope going in and playing teams like Ennis and playing teams like Course Canada that they have offenses that are powerful and they're fast and they're quick. I don't know that there's going to be a team we face this year that we have to worry about. Are we going to be overmatched defensively?
Well, a couple times last year, I felt like in district that, there were a couple times we did feel overmatched. Ennis being one of those. I mean, even Coughlin kind of really just put it on early. This year, it's just got such a different vibe. And this game is key. This game is so key for that. And I don't think people give this game enough credit, especially the fact that it went from being the last game of the year to the first district game of the year, the third game overall. And it could really either propel you or it could kind of sink your ship. And I think last year, it for the most part, sunk the ship. Yeah, or Forney went on and win a couple more games after that, but it was not the season they expected. And it seemed like it all started here last year. Total different story this time around. And, man, you can't feel any better going into the big game against Ennis next week. Yeah, it's going to be a step up in competition, but you play who you have on your schedule, and they have really drummed the first three teams that they've faced, including the big Unity Bowl win tonight here. And things feel just so much differently than they did last year at this point.
Well, obviously a 57-10 victory over your rival, crosstown rivals. And I would say that it's even a better thing that it's early in district this year because this is a launching pad for them. If they can take care of business for the next 2 weeks, I really believe. I don't want to put those other teams down or anything like that, but let's be honest. The next 2 weeks are going to really make your season. And, man, are we going to get to play, call a playoff game this year? I'm excited about that, prospect.
Well, so far the way it looks is we're going to get to call a playoff game. A lot of football left to be played, but a 1-0 district start is you're on your way. Of course, the next two games, like you said, are going to be really meaningful and could go a long way to deciding who the district champion will be this year in North Forney's district. Once again, the final score here from City Bank, it's the Falcons 57, the Jackrabbits 10. Next week, 7:30 kickoff at Ennis. We'll call it the Lions Den against the Ennis Lions. Pre-game show will start at 7:10 right here on YouTube. Once again, for James, for Fred, for Ayana, I'm Wally, and we will catch you next week. Go Falcons.